And once again, a massive shout out to our $10 supporters, Scalespeeder Gaming, Dick Donovan and Kenny Baker, and our two $25 supporters, Jake Snow and twitch.tv/redfreedom3739. You too can join to be a patron over at patreon.com/878 Survivor FM. Hope you enjoy the show. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome to episode 62 of the 87.8 Survivor FM DayZ podcast. Mark's back as always, mate. Lovely camouflage top there, mate. You're blending into the wall.
Yes, blending in, just a floating head.
It's like a green screen effect, man. Mm-hmm. And we are joined today, as always, the last episode of each month is a players episode. Sadly, our other guest, Luke, had to bail. He got some overtime at work, and hey, the podcast doesn't pay anything, so have to take the work when you get it. But we are still joined by McKie. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How about you?
Not too bad at all, mate. Not too bad at all. Let me just adjust your volume. I think you're a little bit soft. Can you try saying something again?
Hello, hello, hello.
There we go. That's much better. So, yes.
You're back?
Bloody boomer. I turned... I joined the wrong channel, and then I've had to pop out my chat, and there we go. We're back. So yeah, pretty big week in some information. A great post from Asmund, Wobo's leg damage video, and some other stuff. TRMZ clip and pistol clip that we're going to be talking about. But as always, being a players episode, we like to hear from the players of the community as to what they're thinking, and that's why we've got you on today, McKie. So what's your big burning issue? Well, actually, before we get into that, mate, we'll find out a little bit about you. We've got a bit of a bio from you that you uploaded for us. So you've been gaming all the way back to the Sega Genesis, mate.
Yeah, pretty much. Ever since I could pick one up.
And hardcore DayZ player, roughly 4,000 hours. Those are rookie numbers, mate.
Yeah, can't pick them up. I've only been playing for 2 years, so it's not too bad.
Okay, 4,000 hours in 2 years. That's not rookie numbers. That's some fucking hardcore number. Even Mark's is like, yeah, okay. How many hours you got, Mark's?
I have 1,600 hours, and I've been playing this game 7 years.
Wow.
So that'll tell you.
Wow.
Yeah, I think my mate worked out and how many hours I've actually played in a day, and it's just ridiculous. Shouldn't even be mentioned.
So what is the big burning topic for you, mate? What did you decide that you wanted to use the platform today to talk about?
Basically what Doze and Chopper he actually gone in onto of how the game is starting to just become, we're getting updated, and sometimes it's just nothing of what people don't want. We end up getting potatoes, we end up getting sweeping brushes, we get brooms when there's still so many issues in the game, which pisses me off when it never used to. I used to just say the features, but now it just gets to a point where it does drive you insane, to the point where it's just you don't want to play.
I do have to say, as much as I don't mind some new items and things like that, the addition of brooms was a bit of a okay. Of all the things you could have added, you added brooms. Okay, fair enough.
I think it's a kick in the ass to the players who play constantly. When claws and stuff still clip, when your arms still bug, when DayZ still DayZ and it doesn't get fixed, and we get brooms.
Yep.
When it's not like we can say, oh, it's an indie company that has no money and they're struggling. When Bohemia Interactive are a multi-million-dollar company, when they're huge, and that's what irritated me in the end. what I want to talk about later is a server that I've been playing, which has actually made me want to play DayZ again
Yep.
because it's changed. But that's like, I think Doze and Shep were pretty much got on to what I watched it last night or the night before, and he pretty much got on to like what I basically wanted to say were probably better of how just DayZ in general. Ever since I started playing, I can't really see a difference in it. In DayZ itself, like the base game itself. And I think that's why a lot of people get bored.
See, and that's an interesting perspective, Marks, because you and I, both having played, probably since standalone first came around, we could clearly have seen the difference in the game over all of those years. But for people who've only joined more recently and only seen the new engine, from 0.63 onwards, there's not a lot. That's
1.10 was the biggest update in terms of changes, I think, since the game hit 6.3, because you had wasn't it the weather changing and clothing actually worked, and that was the biggest update I think we'd seen in a long time, where stuff actually changed, and it changed the way you kind of played and stuff like that. But with the adding of brooms and stuff, I think what DayZ's problem is there's a lot of clutter in the game that doesn't necessarily need to be there. Just a lot of random stuff there. Like, why did you add that when you could have added a different clothing item or something like that? Now, don't get me wrong. I'd say there's a lot of random stupid clothing items that I don't even think should be in the game either. But everybody wants a choice of this and that. So, and the thing that McKie said with the clipping as well. Have you ever? I'm assuming you've all seen it with you put on a balaclava.
Yep.
And then you either put a hat on top of that or a helmet or something, and it just clips so badly. I can't wear the balaclavas in the game anymore because they just look so bad.
It's not a big thing to be bothered about, but it is, say, if you come from the perspective of
for a
someone
game that's supposedly full release, it's not acceptable.
Yeah, if you buy the game, say you bought the game today, and you paid the crazy ass price of £43, which is the price of some AAA titles.
On that note, 40% off sale, Steam open world sale at the moment.
Yeah, and then you join DayZ, and say the first thing that happens is you jump into 5 bugs that we're all used to, and we all know our way around. But a new player sees that, like, what's this shit? And he'll just get a Steam refund. When they don't actually understand the concept of DayZ, of like the community's great, like the game is great, but you just have to ignore the bugs. Most people don't play long enough to get over that hump because they see so much bad stuff when they start playing.
And those visual bugs are their own goals, in my opinion. They're things that should have been sorted by now, and it's just. I can understand, when you're talking about mechanics of the game and stuff like that, you do an update, some things break and all the rest of it. But simple little visual bugs, no, that's their own goals, and they need to get someone on. Whether they look at employing someone like a fucking Winstride or a Helkiana, these people who can make good quality models, and get them to fix it, because it just looks bad. It's even myself, and self-confessed DayZ fanboy, but I'm like you, Marks. I will wear them, but it annoys me every time when you put something on, particularly when you put a baseball cap on, and like if you find that pink and white balaclava and it's just clipping through, you've got hair clipping through things, and
it just looks.
Clothes is the second biggest thing in DayZ. People always have the favorite weapon, but then they always have their clothes.
I have a philosophy of it's not how well you play, it's how good you look playing.
Yeah, I play like a lot of organic RP servers, and you recognize people by what they're wearing. So if I see a friend in a server, I'll know it's him because he'll have the jacket on, the trousers on, he'll have the hat on, he'll have the face mask on. You'll know it's him. So it's like, it's a big thing. Clothing's a big thing in DayZ.
Yes,
it's just as big as anything else, because it's a game of where it's open, it's wilderness. It's, if you don't play a server with markers and stuff like that to recognize your friend, people take clothes quite serious. But it's the small things in the game that put a lot of people off, especially, like I said, the price is crazy for an old game. I think that puts a lot of people off. I like DayZ, and I've definitely got enough hours in it for my £40, but I don't think, if it was 20 quid, 25 quid, they'd get a lot more players. See how massive it is in console because it's on the Xbox Store for free.
Again, that's something I forget about is the actual full price of the game. You know, I bought it back in early access, and I think it was like $25 or so Australian, so probably less than. That would have been probably maybe €15 or £15 or.
I think it was about €20.
Yep.
I think I paid for mine about €20.
Yep. So it was bugger all back then, and yeah, just for all those little bugs and that they really need to. You know, they said this year they were going to be looking at fixing and polishing a lot of the issues with the game. Then be more about that than pushing out new content. But it's something that they do need to address. Just simple. It's like I said, it's its own goals.
I think there's going to be a lot of trouble if 1.13 comes out. We're on 1.12 now, right? Yeah, 1.13. Yep. When 1.13 comes out, if that update doesn't have something good in it, or quite a few good things in it, people are really going to get annoyed. Because 1.12 came out and that had not much stuff, and it broke the entire damage system. You know, all that fiasco. If something doesn't come out of 1.13, people are going to really start to just say screw it and give up.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's the problem. A lot of updates come out and it just breaks more than it does good, and it takes weeks to fix. And like myself, I didn't play for like a few weeks after 1.12 because everything was just broken. You just, after a while, you can't be bothered to join a game where it keeps getting buggier and buggier as it goes on. Obviously, I've never seen like the early game where it was like crazy buggy, but you buy a game for a decent price, you want to play it, and you don't want the small bugs. And I always look at it from a new player perspective. Like, I think how Bohemia should look at it. Like, if they could wipe the existence of memory of DayZ from their mind and play it from the start. So if some rack could play today and know nothing about DayZ, what would he change about it?
That's a good question. That's actually a good way to word it.
Yeah. It is.
And I'm pretty sure it would be a lot.
Yeah. Look, and in their defence, as we've said, we know that they are a very small team now, which is something we would love for them to address. And I think it was last week, Skullspeeder, I think, made the comment, can you just imagine how big his whiteboard is of list of things that he wants to do, as opposed to what he can actually do. So, you know, I will give that, but we have reached out and asked the dev team if they would like to come back on and, you know, talk about the game and where they're at and what they're doing. So I'm waiting on a response on that. But yeah, so
is that why is the dev team so small? Has there ever been like a clear answer as to why it's so small?
No.
So how long has it been small? Has it been since 6.3 that has been really small, or has it been before that? I'm not really 100%.
It was initially quite a small team when they first started the project. You know, a handful of people. And
but it got quite big at a stage, didn't it? Yeah.
0.63, I think, was quite a big team around that time. You know, I think at one stage, don't quote me on this, but I think there was up to 40 people in the team.
I remember hearing 80 people at one stage. I heard that from some YouTuber some years ago now. I heard there was 80 people working on DayZ at one stage back in the alpha days. Don't know if that's true or not.
Applied to be an artist at Bohemia, so yeah, he's just finished his degree. So
yeah, 3 people's crazy. 3 people can barely run a server, never mind a game. If you get a server that big, just doesn't work.
I think they have 8 people on now, but they don't have any animators or stuff like that. I remember, right? No animator stuff. So I don't know if they're just really focusing all their stuff on Arma at the moment or whatever. You know, they have to be, right? Because I don't see any other reason. Is it just Vigor and Arma? Like there has to be some reason for it, but yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Well, let's just hope that we get some sort of update from that tweet that a few of you liked and retweeted, and that you know, what the future plans are for DayZ. Obviously, they don't have to tell us anything, but I think it'd go a long way towards restoring some faith in the community if they did tell us something about what their future plans are, because at the moment it's just You know, it's like they're kicking the can down the road until this unannounced game that they're working on gets released.
I have a feeling we're going to know about that unannounced game because they
The anniversary.
tweeted. Yeah, the anniversary coming up soon, and they tweeted about it. So, we'll have to wait and see.
Scalespeeder says we should all just jump over to Prairie Fire. Get the Prairie Fire guys on. Oh, no, he's saying get the Prairie Fire guys on. They'll give you an idea about team sizes, yeah. That reminds me. Send me a DM about that, Scalespeeder. I forgot that, and I remember you mentioned that, so I will actually hit those guys up. That'd be an interesting
vehicles, like the Smuggling Bro said, that vehicles being fixed would be a night and day difference. They did promise that for this year. We haven't seen anything yet in the updates. They did one where they got characters, so when you got your character out of a car, wouldn't stand on the roof, it'd stand on the ground. But that's all they fixed for that. But if they genuinely got vehicles working to a stage where they're good on console and PC this year, it would be a game changer.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I've seen some racks saying like vehicle stability won't be fixed to a point where it's great, because if it could have been, it would have already been fixed. I'm pretty sure
that's true.
Yeah, honest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Like, but cars and DayZ rely on, like, there's so many variables. It relies on server performance and everything. It doesn't just rely on the game itself, because especially vanilla servers aren't the best. They don't really have the greatest servers, so cars bounce all over on vanilla servers. Where if you play like a well-known server that runs on a good dedicated box, cars aren't too bad.
Yeah, true.
They have the problems, but they're not too bad.
Yeah, provided you don't have those mega base bubbles which just screw everything up when you enter them at high speed and that. But I do recall, I think it was the Modders episode a while back, where they were talking about how Armour is, pretty much using a different engine to DayZ. DayZ is a bit of a hybrid bastard engine, and the Armour one, they won't release Armour with. You'd hope they wouldn't release an Armour without vehicles working perfectly, because it's just so integral to the game.
Yeah. Well, they were always kind of glitchy in Armour 3, weren't they? They were good, but I remember seeing stuff as well that they were like kind of glitchy and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see when this new Armour comes out, what they're going to be like.
Yep.
Because if they're good in that and stuff, I could see people moving. But yeah, I'm not sure.
And what's this server you've been playing on that you want to give a shout out to?
It's Kafina's, who's also made the EOS project.
Yes.
He's made a server called XDK, which is based around Tarkov.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, it's in pretty early alpha stage. And I've been playing on it and speaking to him a little bit. And it's pretty good. I'm pretty sure he said he's messaged Marks about it.
Yeah, he's making so I think it's an Escape from Tarkov map that he's completely made in DayZ. I haven't tested, I haven't been able to hop on yet, but that's what he's saying he's done, and he has a server up at the moment. If you're in a Discord, you would have got a ping about it saying that he has a server up. They're doing alpha testing at it at the moment to fix any bugs and stuff like that, and then it will go public, and they'll have multiple servers and so on as well. And yeah, it should be good. It looks really good from the pictures. He's teasing the podcast Discord as well and stuff, so I'm excited to actually hop on and try it.
It's basically, at the moment, it's just one map, and it's pretty small. He said it's and it's just like an enclosed area, and there's a couple of small militaries, a big military, and some little towns. But he said, like, in the end, it's going to be like multiple maps where you can travel between and stuff. It's not going to be just one map. And
so probably using that server hype mod of Dumpgrass to link the different maps, and
they might. They could.
At the moment, he told me yesterday that he's working on a storage system. So you'll go into an elevator and it'll teleport you to your own storage place.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be like a container where you can store all your guns and your money and whatever else is going to be in the loot system in the end.
I've heard of stuff like that before. There's a mod or something that was being worked on where it was like you'd build your base, but it would be like a tunnel. And when you went up to it, you interacted with it, and it teleported you to your base, which was actually located out in the ocean or something like that. Where people just don't go. So that was your secure base.
Yeah, it's basically just going to be like Tarkov, where you have your stash.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's going to be. So you can't be raided, and it's just, yeah, it feels different from DayZ. Like, doesn't feel the same. So it's not the same grind, and with it being a smaller area, it's pretty more action packed.
Yeah.
But it's pretty fun. Like, it's only in alpha, like early alpha at the moment, and he's basically worked on it for a month, and it's pretty solid at the moment.
You know, you bring up
Like,
a
the
point
map's
there.
really good.
Everyone has a soft spot for Chernarus. Not so much Livonia, but it seems that a lot of these smaller maps, like Namolsk, like Esseka is at the moment, they're the ones that go through the popular phase where because they're not so big, there's more chance of running into people. And yes, the player bases are usually small on those servers, but that seems to be the meta for DayZ maps. Yeah, everyone will go back to Chernarus at some point because it's just, it's like the sweater or the cardigan I'm wearing. Doesn't look the greatest, but it's fucking comfortable, and I just like it. It's bloody good. But yeah, it seems to be the big meta is these smaller maps.
Yeah, it does. I think
like
it's
Livonia.
just really, especially when you're a content creator, because it's just constant action. That way you're always bumping into somebody. It's always that threat of somebody's going to be around here or something like that. And it's pretty cool. So
I love Livonia too, McKie.
I hate it. Yeah, can't stand it.
I'd rather play Livonia any day than Chernarus. Chernarus is just bleak. The colours are horrible. It's just constant towns and cities. And I think if you play hardcore servers, Livonia's harder. You can't rely on just running from little village to little village to find a can, because they're also spread apart. So if you want to play hardcore, if you're a fan of hardcore, it does make it a little bit harder because you don't rely on just constant villages. Why I hate Chernarus is just too repetitive. It's just easy, and it's too big on top of that, where Livonia is only a little bit smaller if you take away the sea, but it does matter. You can play Chernarus with 100 people on it and still find it hard to bump into people.
It's just such a weird layout, Livonia, which is what turns a lot of people off. You just spawn up north where all the towns are, you progress your way south, and then probably, whilst we say it's almost the same size in the landmass, once you remove the forest, especially that larger southwestern area, which is probably a sixth of the map, and there's pretty much nothing in it, bar a couple of very remote, small military bases with a couple of buildings that you can loot. And it's kind of like, why would I bother when there's plenty of military elsewhere, and that one big base, and then you got one town all the way down in the southeastern corner.
The joy of modded servers, most of them fix it. It's like Karma Cruise Dolnik was made by Dance of Jesus, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And that's massive. It's like really good. It's the full Dolnik. Dolnik's just basically a little tiny town. I don't know if you know where it is, but there's nothing there. There's no difference between that and Mogilevka. And it's in the very south of Livonia, and it's just pretty crap. But they've done a really good job on that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so Livonia is good if you don't play vanilla. Vanilla is pretty bleak. There's no reason to go down south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of a Tarkov, my Tarkov video just broke 100,000 views.
Nice.
Which is my first 100K video, so pretty cool. So I'd quickly mention that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, sorry?
Before we jump on, Kafina does need more people to jump onto the server, because at the moment he's basically testing the performance of the server. And with it being PvP, like fast-paced PvP, when people are seeing 4 people online, they're not joining because they only see the 4 people. But he needs a lot of people to start to play before he can actually open it to the public. And
the reason I haven't streamed or made a video on it yet, which I do plan to do, is we're waiting for it to go into beta before we do, because if I make a video on it and say that video explodes like it did with the other Tarkov video, he's going to be overrun, and he won't be able to keep servers up. So he doesn't want that for the alpha stage. He just wants to be able to fill the server he has now, and then after that, then promote it and get multiple servers up.
That's what he said to me. He was pretty worried. He was saying, "Oh, can you just also mention it's in alpha so people don't slaughter us?" I'm like, "Just you've made this server for a month, and it's playable. You've custom made a map.
Cool.
You've made a teleport system that can take you to different areas of the map in a month. Well, people won't slaughter you." And I think that's what he's worried about. But yeah, I think it's pretty stable to play in alpha.
I'm just trying to generate a invite to Kafina's workshop, but I can't.
Hang on, I might be able to get him. His workshop
one. There we go. Got it.
Got it.
There's a link pasted earlier up. So if you want to join Kafina's workshop, this is the link that I'm posting in chat now. Jump in there, have a look around, folks. Anyone doing stuff like this to make DayZ a bit different and interesting should be supported. So jump on over.
Yeah,
that's also the link to the actual server Discord.
Mm-hmm.
The XDK.
That's probably the more relevant one, the one that McKie just posted in chat there.
Yeah, it'd be good to get more people on. I've been pretty much, me and my friend have been playing most days, and it is fun because it takes away the monotony of like finding your friend at the spawn, because you spawn at a trader, which is enclosed by walls, and there's like stores and stuff like that, so you don't have to find your friend, and then you don't have to worry about food.
Is it actually a complete remake of a certain Tarkov map? So like if you were a Tarkov player and actually knew that map, could you actually kind of dominate?
I'm not sure. I haven't played much Tarkov. The map, I think it's called Flatlands. It's called Flatlands, if anybody knows. I think he's made it, I think. I'm not too sure if it's like a rehash of a Tarkov map. But if people just want a fast-paced server, it is, it's probably where you want to go and play instead of running around for hours trying to find people to shoot. In there, it's pretty good. I've had a lot of fun on it, and I was getting bored of DayZ.
Yeah, I haven't played DayZ in quite a while. And kind of just, I don't know, trying to even just get on it has just been like, haven't been finding the excitement or anything to do it. So I've just been kind of off it recently, but I need to test this server out, so I might hop back on.
Play it off stream, see if you like it. Probably be more fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, yeah.
It's probably the worst thing about streaming DayZ, because DayZ can get boring to start with if you do start to grind it too much. But I guess if you stream it and all, it's probably, how often do big streamers play without actually streaming? Just play for the sake of playing?
They don't.
Probably not very often.
They don't. They got to pay. If they're bloody playing the game, they could be making money. So they'll generally only ever play it when they're streaming. And kudos to them.
That's what I do. That's what you gotta do. If you're playing it all day, every day, you'll eventually just hate the game, and you don't want that to happen. So you have to, not play it off stream and stuff like that.
That's why the Running Man is such an oddity, man. I don't know how the fuck he's played it for so many years, and
yeah, he does it every day as well, doesn't he?
Pretty much
most weekdays. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's probably one of the only streamers I watch. Running Man's and Geckofish, probably the only people. You want to get Geckofish on the podcast? He's hilarious. He's probably one of the funniest streamers. His Bangkok series was probably one of the funniest videos on YouTube.
We'll have to reach out to him.
Yeah, he's really funny. I've been on like DayZ Car and stuff when he's been on, and a couple of other servers, and he's funny. He's probably one of the best streamers if you want to go on and just watch for a laugh, or like a series, other than like the Running Man's where he just plays DayZ how it should be played. Geckofish is more funny.
Now, one thing, being a players episode, shout out to Silver from the True Survival community. Sort of prompted the or pushed it a bit for me. But something I'm looking at doing is actually getting out in the field, so to speak, and doing some interviews with players in service, finding out their thoughts on DayZ. And you know, we've got the reach of the podcast, but trying to actually speak to, you know, the people who might not be aware of the podcast. Just yeah, he even designed a let me just share my screen. Oh. What is this issue? Some reason when I click on the share screen button, it doesn't give me the go live option. There we go. That's what I've got to do. He even designed a special little outfit for me. So be aware on the True Survival servers, and I might look at doing it on some other servers as well, but a bit more incognito. I may be jumping on and going around and asking people questions in game. So
like a news reporter in Iraq if you go on some PvP servers.
yeah, I'll be dead fucking more often than not. What, you're that boydie wanker? Fucking bang.
Get them to give you God mode.
No. I think part of the appeal of it would be just letting anything happen. Yeah, please wear a press vest.
Yeah, you need to.
And the UN
Yes, and the UN helmet. Yeah, you got to do that. That would be funny.
Yeah, it'd be like
we might have to get you to do it on some of the PvP servers in the UK EU area, Marks.
That'd be a bloody war zone. I get sniped from miles away before I'd even make it near them.
Make an event out of it, kill the podcaster.
Sorry, what was that?
Make an event out of it, kill a podcaster. Yeah, right, good.
Mate, you wouldn't even need to say kill a podcast. You just need to say kill Boydie 73. The server would fucking fill up, mate. How many people fucking would like to do me in? And that's a good idea, David. I know it's a bit different to what you said, but maybe I need to look at getting onto some console servers as well. I've got an Xbox in the house, so that might be something to look into as well. Get DayZ on it and look at getting out and speaking to some of the console people as well, because we do like to do a console episode every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else before we move on to the rest of the agenda, McKie, that you'd like to talk about?
No, that was it. I just wanted to really do Cafina a favour and shout out his server a little bit on top of that. That was all I wanted to do. The manager, because that's what I think needs the most views on it. People need to go and check it out because he's doing a really good job.
There's that server or Discord server link again. What's this? A community on the PS5, 4,000 members. Endgame community server, PS5. If you've got a link to a Discord or anything for that, David, post it in chat as well, mate. And maybe in the podcast Discord as well. That's good to hear that there's a community on console that is so big. 4,000 members, you know, most communities would die for that sort of numbers on PC, wouldn't they, Marks?
Yeah, they definitely would.
Sure, see how much the consoles took off. Like, it's took off really well. And people are actually loving the game. Someone I used to play like PC
at the moment.
Someone I used to play PC with, like DayZ, they're actually back on their console because they come from console to PC, then went back to console.
How does that happen?
Jesus.
He said he plays with people he's played with for 10 years, so It's more
That's
as in
where his
most.
friends is.
Yeah, most games it's who you play with, not what you're playing.
True.
Yeah,
He said
exactly.
the only bad thing is now, he said the inventory management's just built for PC. It's not built for console. He said it's just a pain in the ass trying to pick things up, switch weapons,
Yep.
the wheel, what they have on there, because they don't have 1, 2, 3 to basically change your weapons and stuff. So that's the only pain in the ass. But he said with the new generation consoles, he said you'd be surprised how good it runs.
Yeah,
And he's
we've been
enjoying it,
hearing that.
so.
Even Skullspeeder said last week that I think he's actually got a video as well where he breaks down the performance of the lower end next gen consoles versus the top end ones. You know, if you can't find the top end console, the lower end ones still perform adequately, better than the old gen consoles. So, yeah. Okay. So, Asmund did a post. Now, I've only seen the very first list on this. The very first item on it. But he did this on the DayZ forums. Quality of life suggestions. Yeah, I love this guy's... he does something and he doesn't do it by halves, does he, Marks? He goes straight in with, he's got a nice little logo, made it look pretty, made it look official. And I'll just read it verbatim. This is just a new list of 50 quality of life improvements and or small tweaks for the game that I think could provide an overall better experience in the next updates. The idea is to come up with achievable and easy to implement suggestions that involve small changes and tweaks within the current content of the game. In the past, many of these suggestions have been considered and incorporated into the game, so I decided to try again. At the end of this thread, you will find a list of those suggestions that were later incorporated into the game, which is not to say that it happened because I suggested it, of course. Here are my quality of life suggestions. Gasoline canisters, make them explode when fired. Yep, that's a given. Glasses, masks and guide rays, realistic functioning colour tints. Yep, I'm with that. Oh, number 3. Catch water from rain. How long has it been since we used to be able to do that? That's a given as well. Police car wrecks in PDs, re-signifying police stations. That's one of the things I love about ESCA. You go to in particular the big police station in the city, and even the airfield has a number of police cars, which you'd kind of imagine, the airfield probably would have had maybe evacuations or something like that, and they're there and they're spawning loot. It's a given. Grenades attached to vests, chance of explosion. More camouflages for items. Oh, yes. I actually spoke about something, and some modders have been tinkering with it as well. When it comes to the improvised shelters, there's really only one you bother building, and that's the one made out of sticks, because the other two stick out like dog's balls. Why would you bother building one unless it's inside a base? But for a stash out in the bush, there needs to be a way to camouflage and maybe better inventory, so that there's a reason to build the tarp and the leather ones. Because at the moment, I've never bothered building a tarp or a leather one. I only ever build them out of sticks.
It'd be cool with the tarp, with the leather ones, if you could put a camo net over it to camouflage it.
Yeah.
Just even an attachment slot like that would be quite cool.
And there's a camo net in the game. So.
Yeah. And you can put them on tents.
The stick shelters are like one of my biggest gripe. I hate them. They're too big. I've always played like hardcore servers where like storage was like hard to get hold of, and when them come out, I hated it because they were just too easy. Just making storage out of sticks. When I was playing a server where if you had a locker, you were a millionaire. And the next thing, if you got a couple of sticks, you got 150.
So you're talking about base oriented servers?
Yeah, that's what I mostly play.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, yeah. But like I always play hardcore servers where a box of nails is worth like your life. A code lock's worth your team's life. But when it comes to the point of where you could just build 150 slot storage of a couple of sticks.
Yep.
That was just, it was just for a hardcore player. I understand the other side of it. Some people don't want to play hardcore.
Leaning, allow to keep the position with a double tap. Again, that's just a simple, makes sense. Backpacks in vehicles, disable them from the player model. Yes. Who the hell would get into a vehicle wearing a fucking backpack? Just such a simple one.
Yeah.
A down jacket added to Churnerous vanilla.
That one where I was a little bit like, Channers doesn't get really that cold. I know that's more of a like a really kind of, you know, jacket meant for cold, so I don't know how that would really work in Channers, but I mean, hey, it'd be a new piece of clothing, so people would like it.
Wet items and weapons, possibility of malfunction. Yeah. And he's got a good explanation for it as well. There's the number of submarine bases in the current build of the game. Yeah, so that totally makes sense. Weapon fire mode, sound effect and or weapon representation. Again, yes. Yes. Smoke grenade spoon, add a working spoon for the... what does he mean by that? Right now when you take it out. Yes. Yes, he's bang on the money with that. So, yeah, smoke grenades do have a lever on them. And it's only once you throw the smoke grenade or allow the lever to pop off that it should start smoking. Not the minute you, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Surviving without a knife, tear up unction, crafted bone knife. Yeah. Yep. Same as chicken should be able to be torn apart with your hands, in my opinion. You know, chance of cutting yourself, maybe get an infection from it, but it should be allowed. Remove the crosshair or replace it with a simple dot. I only play servers with no crosshair, so I don't even know what it looks like on vanilla ones now. What is it?
It's a dot. It's literally just a white dot.
Yep.
It's really annoying. It kind of ruins the immersion of the game. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, I don't know. It just looks kind of tacky.
Military tents carry as a backpack. I remember you used to be able to do it. Now you can't anymore.
Yeah, like it has the carry handles there for it, like, so why not?
Mm-hmm. Flash grenades, more range, more blindness time. Yep, make them something worth actually bothering to use, because throwing grenades in DayZ is very clunky. I don't like it. Never have. But, you know, give it a reason for people to take the risk of trying to flash someone. Cooking with a long stick, keep character's position, one-click action. Turning the cooking with a long stick action, one-click only, not holding. Yeah. Yeah, that again makes sense. Attach radios, keybinds, yes, please. I'll also add to that more frequencies. I don't think there's enough frequencies. They need to add a lot more frequencies. So
he mentions that down below.
He does? Okay.
Yeah.
Radios need to travel forever and all, because nobody uses them because they don't really reach the full map. But if they want to be used, most servers increase the range. But if people want them to be used, they should reach further than they actually do already.
What's the battery life like vanilla? Most servers I play on have a mod which extends the battery life.
I haven't played with vanilla for a long time.
I don't know either.
I'm guessing it's
Never.
not very long.
I've never used a radiator or a radiator battery in vanilla.
And yes, sorry, just to go back on a point, Wolf by Night in chat is saying you can turn off crosshair already. You can do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Bleeding severity according to origin and not just to quantity. Yes. Now
I like that where it tells you, like, with the blood, so it tells you 1 cut, 3 cuts, 5 cuts, whatever.
Yeah.
It'll tell you how many quantities. That's quite.
This one I don't think is quite as simple though as some of the others, but I do agree with the concept that if you get hit by a fireman's axe, you get 1 cut, and if you cut your hand breaking a bush, you get 1 cut, but they're both equal cuts. I'm probably safe in saying that someone hits me in the head with a fireman's axe, I'm going to be bleeding a lot more than if I'd cut my hand breaking a bush or a stick.
Yeah, I think so anyway, yeah.
Hostages allow players to jog while tied up. Yep. It's frustrating. You see a lot of the likes of the Uncle Ray Rays and the Lax Hawthorns who like to take people prisoner and that. And it kind of ruins the moment when they're trying to move someone and all they can do is that slow walk and yeah. Dead player's blood, enable to extract blood from corpses, one-time action. Not quite sure how that would work because the heart's not pumping. So you'd have to do CPR at the same time to... Interesting. Don't know about the reality of that one, but it doesn't always have to be realistic.
It's realistic because mortuaries drain blood from corpses. Probably get embalmed.
But don't they use a pump system?
Maybe, not too sure.
Yeah.
No idea.
I'm pretty
sure. Diseases indicator, different diseases symbols. Yeah, that'd be a nice. But again, that could. Oh, okay. Using a blood test kit. Yes. Okay. Good. I like that. So it gives you a different indication once you've used the test kit, not just when you get the disease. So you get the bug symbol that you've got a disease, and then once you identify it, it specifies. Yeah. Yep. Zeroing your weapon, add a sound effect, prevent the need of any HUD. Okay, that one makes sense as well. ADS transaction, make it slower and smoother. Current transition from hipfire, raised weapon to ADS is extremely fast. You get to your sight view almost immediately, and there is also an exploit to make it even faster. This not only makes the game feel casual and arcade-like, but also conspires against the original idea of warning the other player about your... Yeah, totally agree.
I wonder would that one fix the issue with the ADS bug if you made it slower.
I think that's what he's referring to when he says there's also an exploit to make it even faster.
That might kill two birds with one stone like that one.
Third map item, check the map without a full interface. This is already a thing in most community servers. It's completely amazing. The fact you can check a map outside the full screen map is one of the most immersive approaches that can be... Yeah, I like that. I don't know about you, McKie, but I love carrying a map and compass on me. And I just enjoy getting the map out and just being able to zoom in on it. It unfolds in front of me, and I zoom in and I could just look at it like I would a real map. Not the being able to, pop up a map with markers and stuff like that. I know that's, fits for certain servers. Sorry, in chat they're saying we've already got bleeding rate is based on where the cut happens. It just doesn't show up well for the player. And Wolf by Night is saying hand and feet cuts bleed much slower. Okay, so it looks like that one's already been addressed.
Hand and feet could be stopped by not moving. So if you bleed... If your hands are bleeding, the cut's minor. So if you lay on the ground and you don't move, the cut clots.
Yeah.
So it's just not out there for the player to know. But the hand bleeding is ridiculous. And the same as the shoes bleeding, which is pretty much... I'm a hardcore player, but the vanilla shoe damage is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's not realistic and it's annoying. Like, it's just to another point annoying. It doesn't make the game harder. It just makes the game annoying. And there's a big difference between that. It's like how a pair of working shoes or a pair of running shoes break in so much time is just stupid. There's no point. It doesn't make the game harder. Not in the slightest. It just makes it annoying.
I think it's one of the hell mods where you can craft improvised shoes for when they break using rags and duct tape, I think it is.
If you play game servers like DayZ Underground, they've adjusted their values on shoes damage.
Yeah.
And it basically changes the way people dress and all. You see people in different clothes because everybody just goes for the high-tier military boots because they last the longest.
And you can attach a knife to them as well.
Yeah. So like in DayZ Underground, even though it's an RP server, you see people wearing different clothes because a pair of wellies wouldn't break in 2 hours. They're just not going to, no matter what you do, how fast you run, where you run with them. They're not going to break. And in DayZ Underground, that is a good thing about that server is you see people dress differently. They will choose different type of clothes because they've been adjusted. That's what I like about some hardcore servers.
Couple of things in chat. Vanilla shoe damage is based on your travel way, aka walking does the least damage to shoes, whereas sprinting does the most damage to shoes. So that may be part of the issue for a lot of the no stamina PvP servers, why they wear out so quick. And a correction to what I said, it's not the Hell Survival mod, it's Masses mod that has the improvised shoes. So something that probably a lot of people playing on servers which have Masses many items mod aren't aware of is you can craft improvised shoes using duct tape and rags.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Shoes based on your weight, though, it's still crazy the fact if you're heavy and you've got wellies on to wear out in an hour.
I would like there to be more complexity to the shoes as well. Sneakers wear out quicker, but they're quieter. Military boots are louder, and you've got the option to store a knife in them, but they last longer. Give people a reason to choose different types of footwear.
Yeah, like I have a set of military boots inside, and I have them. God, it must be 5 years now, and they're nowhere near worn out. If it was the DayZ world, I'd be going through them every bloody week.
That's already in the longer beards.
I don't think they can get that long. I've never seen a beard that long. Like the final picture, I've seen the third picture.
Yeah, they got the third. They don't got the fourth.
Yeah, the fourth one that'll be kind of cool, or even longer than that.
Shave head, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I never used the shaved beard actually because I always liked my character with a beard.
Shave head would be good because most of the time your hair clips through the hats. If you wear like a black cap.
That'd be kind of cool. So say they added in hypothetically say for Livonia they added in a system where Livonia is hotter. So you have to manage your clothes. Imagine if shaving your head made your character cooler. Or something like that. That'd be another cool little idea.
Binoculars, faster use and one-click action. Not many people bother carrying binos anymore.
No.
Especially when they take up 9 slots of your inventory. Whereas if you find a hunting scope, you can still zoom in, and you've got the variable zoom as well, and it takes up less space. They need to rethink the binos. There's very little reason other than purely for aesthetic / roleplay sort of purpose to carry a pair of binos.
Plug in DayZ Underground again, but they've fixed that. It's probably I don't even play there anymore. But that server's best qualities is better to life qualities. What they do. That's basically the binoculars are smaller because for people that carry them, and it's not an RP server where it's forced RP. It's organic. You can still shoot people all you want, but yeah, that's another thing on DayZ Underground. They have a lot of good better to life things on that server.
Inventory sounds, add sounds and fix soundless exploit. Yes, I totally agree. We all know the exploit of a gun in your backpack, and you draw it quicker than you would if it was coming off your shoulder. So people can carry a sawn-off shotgun or a small submachine gun, pistol, even some ARs in a backpack, and just draw it instantly. Whereas, if there was a sound, at least it's some sort of alert for the other person who should have the drop on someone. Takes their eye off the screen for a second, and the next thing they're gunned down.
Like the inventory sounds are there. Yeah, Dab has those sounds there. That mod is there. Everything's there to add that. Also, as well, a thing on the binoculars. The reason I don't carry binoculars is I usually run an AR and a sniper. So I usually have a sniper with a scope on it. To replace the binoculars. So I don't see the point for them personally.
Needs to be a reason.
Yeah, true, that does.
Gas canisters explode when shot with flashbang effect. Don't know about that one. No, it's a gas canister, not a fuel canister. So,
yeah, I didn't understand that one.
I don't know about the brightness, whether it would be enough. Flashbangs are specifically designed to make a blinding light. I'm not sure that a gas canister exploding would create that same level of light, but could be interesting.
Maybe a smoke cloud?
Bigger dirt pile and multiple stashes restriction.
I like that idea of the multiple stash restrictions. So when you bury one, it'll say okay, so now you've buried one out of 5. So maybe you have 5 stashes you can bury, and once you buried your 5, then that's it. You can't bury anymore.
If you I don't think it should be limited. I think it should just be more obvious because it takes away It takes away the feel of being in an open world and not being in a game where you can do what you want. When the
Yeah,
game's
true,
forcing
true.
you not to do, when the game forces you not to do something. I think that's like the good thing about DayZ is it doesn't force you not to do anything. It just says go do what you want. But then when the game's like, no, you're not allowed to do that, it kind of takes away that immersion. But stashes are so easy, especially when you bury them. Cut down a tree, bury your stash, and no one's ever gonna find it.
Yeah, and the tree replants itself, then you can't see it.
Yeah, I
And
think it should
server
be bigger,
resets.
more. It should be bigger and more obvious. I don't think it should restrict you from how
See,
many you can
I
bury.
don't agree. I'm looking at the underground stashes one now myself, and if I was to bury something, I wouldn't just leave a big pile of fucking dirt. I'll dig the hole big enough that I could put it in there, scatter the rest of the dirt, and then I would camouflage the hole in the ground. But that should be added as steps. That disperse dirt and then camouflage the
There should be always be an to make it fun though. There should always be an opposite effect of what you're doing in a game. So if you can stash something, someone should be able to find a way of finding it. It's just because it's like I said, I don't like the immersion being took away, but in the end, it is still a game. So if you can stash something where it's basically invisible, that's too OP. It's still a game, and it's still a survival game. It's still like in most cases still a PvP scenario, still a base rating scenario. So like you've got to have two opposite ends of the spectrum. You've got to have, yeah, I can bury it and it's going to be hard to find, but it's still going to be possible to find. Or there'll never be any bases. Everyone will just bury everything.
True.
I think you've always got to have two sides of it. You've always got to have, yeah, I can bury my stuff and there's a 70% chance it won't get found. But if it becomes too OP, everyone just hides the base raid and stuff in there and it never gets found.
Wolf by Night has said in chat, pulling from a bag should take longer. I will go one step further and say you shouldn't be able to pull from a backpack. I like the mods that exist, hardcore backpacks, etc., where if it's in your backpack, you can't access it. You can't even put it onto your hotbar. I think that should be the vanilla standard of the game. It would totally eliminate the thing of guns just appearing from nowhere. And make people have to think about where they put items. So magazines, if you've got magazines for your gun in your backpack, you can't reload your gun with those magazines. They have to be in your pockets or in your vest / belt or whatever you might have on that server. That should be the vanilla standard. Yeah, I know a lot of the PvP servers won't be happy with that, but that's how I feel about it.
That's how I think it should be. I've seen a mod on the workshop and I think it's broke at the moment. Like, yeah, I don't think you supported it any longer, and that's what it does. It basically stops you from using your backpack when it's on your back, and that for me should be just in vanilla DayZ.
Yeah.
And if PvP servers don't like it, the beauty of DayZ is you can just remove it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone will create a mod to counter it. Precise positioning, long torches, and other items. Oh yes, yes. Just imagine being able to put them around your base and light it up. Not having to use the floodlights and things like that, and yeah, Russian roulette, a way to implement it. It is disappointing they haven't brought it back. It used to be one of the favourites of back in the day. Yes, there was a sequence to it, but
yeah, people were really excited when they added the revolver back. And they were like, "Oh yes, Russian roulette is back." And then when they realised it actually wasn't,
it was my first question. First question: is Russian roulette back? No. Oh. Okay, that's kind of like yeah.
I'm assuming the reason it's not back again is because of the lack of animations.
Yeah.
That would be my only reason for it not being back, I think, anyway.
I don't even think it'd need an animation.
Spinning the chamber.
Yeah, you wouldn't even think so, technically, yeah. Well,
it's in the chamber, and I don't know how it works, I'm not a modder, but you just have to cancel. You just have to put a percentage on whether it'd fire or wouldn't fire. I'm not a mod thingy, but that'd be my guess. I don't even think it'd need an actual animation. Because the gun fires, it doesn't fire. The animation never changes.
Binoculars, add attachment slot for belts and backpacks. Yeah, that'd be good. Skin and quarter chickens, increase the interaction area. Oh,
this one is yes, it really needs to be done. It's so hard to skin a chicken. Yeah.
What needs to be added to that is being able to pick up a chicken.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Chickens are stuck to the floor. I'm like I've said, a hardcore player, but not being able to pick up a chicken is ridiculous.
Especially,
With-
and to expand on that, the scenario being when you spawn in on a hardcore server where there is not a lot of food around and you see a chicken but you haven't yet found enough stones, you want to be able to go kill that chicken and pick that fucker up, even if you have to carry it in your hands until you find the stone knives. But now you kill the chicken and it despawns within 10 minutes or something like that, which is usually, it takes you a bit longer to find a few stones to, or if you get lucky and find a blade, you come back and the chicken's despawned.
Yeah. Also, with that, I would say increase the hitbox maybe of the actual chicken itself when you're trying to kill it.
Yeah.
I think can be an absolute nightmare to kill from time to time.
Yeah. We've all had it where you're running along and trying to punch it, and yeah.
Probably some of my funniest moments in DayZ though is like a group of us chasing a chicken trying to kill it with axes and sledgehammers. And there's like 6 of us and none of us can hit the chicken.
Totally agree with this one. Bleeding HUD-free screen representation. There needs to be some sort of visual indicator that you are bleeding. Especially as there are quite a few people, the likes of Smoke and that, who don't play with a HUD. And having to constantly, tap it up and check. Yeah, it would be good.
The only reason they know they're running low on blood if they have no HUD is when they go stuck on black and white.
Yep.
Too late at that point then.
EpiPens, avoid fainting in flashing red blood. Yeah.
That one is what I originally thought the EpiPens are for, because it says on the EpiPen that's what it's for. It increases your blood, but it only gives you unlimited stamina for 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual description of the EpiPen itself is wrong, unless they changed it since. But last time I checked it, it was wrong.
Again, it comes back to that reward for carrying something that a lot of people just overlook. They don't bother picking them up. Yeah. Northeast
because
Airfield.
Because on PvP servers that have that with the unlimited stamina, EpiPens are completely useless. They're absolutely useless. So if they were to do that to increase blood, it would make probably PvP a bit better as well.
Northeast Airfield, bring it back to life. We talked about this ourselves just last week. 110% agree on that one. Apartment buildings, is there a good reason why those are empty? I know they've explained that they would soak up a lot of the loot spawns of the map, but could they not just recode them and add some unique loot to them? As he says there, you went to those apartments to find civilian tents back in the day. It gave people a reason for going in them. Now they're just used for snipers and the occasional cheeky bugger who stashes a barrel in one of the bathrooms. Most people just run by them, and they're such a big building, they're kind of wasted.
There's no point going into them at all.
Stealth
OP base.
at a slow, but they do make a really good base if you've got build anywhere. Stealth at a slower stance or speed while crouching. Needs to work on the stealth. Burying dry bags, make them take damage with every. That makes sense. That could counter part of the issue of the stashes and that. But if you're digging it up, you probably would be stabbing it with the shovel and things like that. So, handcuffs make them unique and useful. In my opinion, handcuffs are not getting the relevance that they should in game. That uses the fact that you can break them in a matter of seconds without any tool involved absolutely kills their purpose. You shouldn't be able to break free from handcuffs just by struggling. You would need the key or any other melee item to avoid frustrating scenarios to set you free. This will open a huge window for really cool interactions. In addition to this, the suggestion jogging while tied up is key. The only issue I see with this is if it's too complex, it could be used to troll people. Someone says, you're running with a bunch of guys and they're all kind of a bit funny in that. One of them says, I'm just going to be jumping off shortly, fellas. And then they handcuff him. And if it takes him 30 minutes to fucking get out of the handcuffs, we all know if you log off while you're tied up, it kills you.
Yeah.
So that's the only issue I can see there. But they definitely need to have some sort of reward for using them, where you could just carry rope or wire or guts even.
Yeah.
Don Sibley saying in chat, you could change the XML easily to make the chance low of a tent to spawn in those apartments. Also, hi guys. Hi Don. Communication devices, range, multi-frequency concept and persistence. We really need a change for radio concept to make these items useful again. Having 7 different frequencies and only a 5-kilometer range turns what could be a huge element of interaction into an absolutely dead item. I always still grab one, just out of, I like to have one and I like to check, but I play more interaction style. But I think the biggest issue is just most people can't be fucked using in-game VoIP when they can just go into a Discord call with their mates, which ruins DayZ in my opinion. You may as well just be playing PUBG or COD, which isn't such an immersive game. Where possible, even when I play Scum, I prefer to use in-game VoIP just because it increases the game. It makes the game better for those around. I know the PvPers are scratching their head going, but why would you want them to hear you? Because it could create a unique situation. That's why I loved the village server back in the day. The rule was don't use VoIP. If you were found using VoIP, you'd be warned or banned from the server. I think more servers need to push that to give people a reason for using radios. There's that whole excitement of when you're playing with someone, McKie, when you have to maintain close enough or change your volume of your shouting or whispering to maintain comms. It just adds an element to the game that a lot of people miss out on.
So hard to actually stop for people from using comms. It's just it's impossible.
It's nigh on impossible. I don't know whether there's a way to detect it, but it's nigh on impossible. But all you're really doing is cheating yourself out of what could be a truly great experience.
I've heard it said where it's against the rules to check the players. That is like a rule that you're not allowed to check who's online. But there's a rule, and then there's a realistic punishment. Like, how are you gonna actually see if someone's checking the player base? You can't do it. You can't enforce that rule.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a silly rule.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest servers on DayZ still, but yeah, you can't really check you can't tell. It's the same as no voice call. You can't check. You can't stop it. It's gonna happen. And then I think in the long run, if you start banning I don't know, so you ban 50 players, it's just also it's gonna kill your server. In the end, if you ban people just for being in a voice call.
See, that's the joys of DayZ. You can do whatever. You can, if you want to talk in game, you can. If you want to talk via Discord, you can. It's whatever way you want to play it. But if there's a certain server fire, not allowing it for RP or whatever, that makes sense. But
the field transceiver needs some love. I can't remember the last time I took one.
I've never used one. Never used one.
In a base. I've had one in a base. And even then, it's a frustrating item. It's a bit better now because you've got the flag, which increases the despawn value of items. But I've always felt there needs to be an item you could make that you could attach the field radio to and a speaker so that you could have it on in your base and potentially hear people calling out to you, as opposed to just having the small one on you or just having to walk around with a field transceiver on your back. It's just, it's a wasted item almost.
Yeah, I've never seen one being used.
Work out between the fun and the realistic side. They should just increase the handheld transceivers and do away with field transceivers, because obviously it's not realistic, but it opens up more doors for it being fun.
There are actually radios that you can get that flick between all frequencies as well. And the minute a transmission is heard on one of those channels, they lock in on that frequency. You could make that a rare item you find that has a bigger broadcast range and also flicks between frequencies.
Played on servers like Intense and stuff like that, where they have the range of the radios, the full map with a little bit of static the further it goes, and everybody's using them. You don't really bump into that many people because it's more.
Actually, you just reminded me of something then, McKie. That's the other thing that I hate is for those people who've used walkie-talkies, little small radios and that, they generally, as a rule, do not constantly play static noise. The static comes when someone's actually transmitting.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things that turns me off of the radios on vanilla. I'm not sure if they fixed it, but most servers I play on have the no static mod. It fucking annoys me. I've got hearing issues. I hear, I've got tinnitus, if you know what that is. And hearing that white noise static sound, it just drives me fucking insane. I hate it with a passion, and they need to fuck it off. It's stupid. It's not realistic at all. That's not how radios work.
Could you imagine the amount of small little mods like that are in the workshop that could be just done away with?
Yeah.
If they were just added into the game. Like, not saying that the mods are bad or anything, but just little things like that I'm assuming could easily be added into the game.
Yep.
And just free up the workshop a bit more would be, so good.
Well, it opens up so many different doors for people interacting with each other, even on servers where people don't want to interact. Because I'd say you got a solo player who just, like a friend I have, he doesn't really interact with people. He runs around the edge of the map. He has a base that's in the middle of nowhere. He just basically just wants to play a survival game without getting shot, but with the fear of getting shot.
Yeah.
And he, to open up to basically get a radio where he can still speak to people around the full map from Tizzy to Berezino without getting shot makes a difference to the game. It makes a huge difference.
I would also like a different button for transmitting. So you can have your radio on, and if someone comes up on you, how many times have you overheard? It's funny, but how many times have you overheard someone talking to someone else because the transmitter's tied to push to talk when they see someone in game?
Do is make two 3D models. You could have the handheld transceiver that goes 3 kilometers, and then you could have a long range transceiver that goes the full map. Just 2 3D models, and it changes it changes like the full game, which interacting with people that you're not close to does change the game, especially if you're a solo player. If you want to meet with somebody, and then if you want to meet with somebody, do you take that risk to go and meet with that person who says that the friendly? You don't know if they are, and they're like, okay, let's meet up at Kamishovo, and you go and meet this person. He turns out to be friendly, and you go on the best adventure that you've ever had on DayZ. The radios stop that.
I do agree with Zyson's comment in chat he just put. I wouldn't go full map, as that would make the radio towers like Altar useless.
They are useless. Nobody uses them. I can't remember the last time I'd known someone to use Altar, so they're already useless.
It depends on the server. On DayZ Down Under, we had a guy, Dirty, and he would do a radio show most nights, Dirty FM. And he would play, copyright music, but it was fun. And people would go and give him stories about stuff, and he would talk about the gossip on the server, and it made for a really good experience.
Oh yeah, some people do use them, but it's a rarity. Then you cater to the slim, to the people, to the rare.
Yeah, you're catering to the people that play either RP or hardcore servers that would go about their day doing that. When most of the popularity of DayZ is PvP, and not many people are going to bother even picking up a radio unless they're used for making C4. It's the only reason you ever pick them up.
But most of those people aren't going to bother communicating in game in any case. So I kind of think they're obsolete from the discussion. Most of them are going to just use VoIP. Third-party VoIP programs like Discord.
If the PvP, I don't play PvP servers besides the new server I was talking about. I don't. But if the PvP scene didn't exist in DayZ, DayZ would be dead.
Yeah.
And it'd be gone, because the hardcore scene in DayZ is so small. All the mods, Morty's gun packs, all the mods that get made for the PvP servers. That's what they get made for. The hardcore servers just get the dribs of the mods, basically.
No, I don't agree. There is we get the better quality mods, in my opinion. The PvP mods are basically, for the most part, they're silly things like no stamina, and 1,000,001 different gun packs. You look at the hardcore mods, straight away we've got him in chat. We've got Dumpgra. Have you ever played on a server with ammo making and the metallurgy mod?
Yeah, I've seen it. So it's not my thing.
Oh, mate, they are brilliant. Then you've got the Hell mods, Hell Retex, Hell Survival. Hell Survival is a brilliant mod. It just adds so much to the game. A lot of these things we're talking about, bone knives and stone knives and crafting an improvised shovel and an improvised hammer, and it's all possible in these mods, and the quality of them is amazing.
But like that mod, for example, is used in PvP as well, especially on PvP base building servers. That mod's used.
I hate PvP servers for the most part. Like, I don't like them. But I think if you take away all the hardcore mods, it won't affect DayZ. But if you take away all the PvP mods and all the PvP from DayZ, it affects DayZ massively. Because it's what keeps DayZ alive. Like, I'm a hardcore player, and that's all I'll play. And I understand the PvP part. Like, I do, and I'm glad it's there because it keeps the game alive. Like, stuff that gets put in. And what keeps it alive? If it was just a hardcore scene, the average player base on DayZ is what, like 30,000. If it was just us hardcore people, it'd be barely 5,000. Barely.
Yeah.
So it's better that the PvP stuff's there. Like, that's what I think. And sometimes I get bored and I go and play on the PvP servers. Go make my way to Tizzy, get in a gunfight, either kill someone, log out, get bored, or die. I'm like, oh well, and then log out. I don't really play them, but I understand them, and I'm glad they're there.
Animal source items. We need more crafting recipes. 110%. Part of the reason why I've been playing so much Scum. Scum shits all over DayZ when it comes to crafting. It's easier in Scum because the recipes are all there. But yeah, just, you know, different little improvised backpacks and things like that. It's just, yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. Prone crouch F5 allow captors to access hostage inventory. Currently, you can only access the hostage's inventory after tying him up, allowing access to their inventory by proximity when they press F5 and are crouched. That I'd like to see expanded on. That I'd like to see someone have a look at. Yeah, that's got good potential, that one. Clothing status, wet textures, representation. Windstride's doing that already. And it looks amazing.
Yeah, Windstride's mod pack is probably the best mod on the workshop, hands down. Out of everything, I've always said Windstride's mod pack is unreal. You always get a mod pack where there's normally like 10% of it shit. Yep. Like if you get a gun pack, there's always the bad 3D models. There's always like the shit animations. Like that's not their fault because they can't do animations, but the bad 3D models. But Windstride is just solid all the way through. Like you can't pick bad things with Windstrider's clothing pack. It's probably one of the best mods out there.
I don't agree with you, mate. The DayZ pop, I still remember the dark old days, mate, when it went down to around about 3,000 concurrent players. That wasn't an okay pop. No. Modding really brought a lot of people back. Yeah, some other stuff as well, but yeah.
But if it wasn't from modding, the game wouldn't. I don't think the game would be alive right now.
I wouldn't play if there was only vanilla. Vanilla's terrible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play. It's like you can't even vanilla base building. I don't even like vanilla raiding. Like the idea behind it's good, but it's too easy. Like a fresh spawn can raid a 2-gate base with bones and a couple of sticks. It's just too easy to raid a base with vanilla raiding. Vanilla building's horrible. Vanilla tent placement is just ridiculous. Like a little bump will stop you from placing a tent.
Melee combat blocking consistency. The melee and mainly the block feature is probably one of the features to DayZ that has less consistency right now. You can block attacks from a fire axe with just your fists, but you cannot block. Yeah, he's actually got a good point there. I'm going to put this in chat because I know we've skipped over a lot of points and only cherry picked a few, but you know the podcast only goes for so long. But yeah, that's the link to the forum. We'll cover the last ones. Petrolighter, allowed to be used to illuminate. Yeah, just a small bound of illumination. Animal meat, initial heat value. It'd be interesting that animal or human meat has an initial temperature value that can be used for initial heating. Helicopter crash sites radio signal. This idea is not new, but the incorporation of APSI and muon technology into mole survival has become much more feasible. In a nutshell, helicrash events should generate a radio signal which should consist of a simple beep by proximity. I like that idea. I really do. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I know there's a mod on the True Survival service where you actually see the helicopter flying through the sky or a plane flying through the sky and then they crash. But even that, just a simple little beep that gets louder, you know, a bit like the old Far Cry with the diamond chests and stuff like that. I love that idea. Love it. Yeah.
That's where I get at with DayZ, because all of these are already mods.
Mm-hmm.
So us PC players, if every single one of them come to PC now, how many people will be excited? Not many, because we've all already seen it. So like Bohemia need to do something outside the box, which is hard because there's so many mods and so many stuff's being done. But there's 50 of them and 40 of them are probably already popular mods. Like, how many everybody plays modded servers. Vanilla servers aren't that busy. There's a few that are full. But in comparison to modded servers, if them come out, not many people would really give a shit, because they're already in modded servers. Pretty much all of them. That's where I think people get bored of the game, because the modern community is bigger than the vanilla community, besides console. But most of them are already mods.
But even console with the XML group on Facebook and that, they're starting to look at ways to just not have vanilla either. And it seems to be working for the most part. They're coming up with some amazing stuff. So, yeah, I agree. A lot of these things would be very easy for them to implement, I imagine. I'll quote unquote that. You know, we like to say things are easy, but, you know, they've often said to us it's not as easy as you think, but surely it'd be easier if a lot of this stuff's already in existence. So, yeah, definitely go over and check out that forum and Asmondian's post and leave your feedback on it, folks. You know, join in the discussion there. I think he's got some great ideas.
I think if someone can do it in the bedroom as a hobby, like I said before, a multi-million-pound company should be able to do it. All these modders don't do it as a full-time job. Some might do. Most of them do it as a hobby. If a modder can do it as a hobby, there's no reason why someone who works at Beamia Interactive and who gets paid and the company's massive can't do it.
And as well, with the last one, especially. Go on, sir.
Too many people have too much love for Bohemia because they see DayZ. I love DayZ. I think the game's great. But the best thing about DayZ is the community, not the game.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Yeah. But everyone has too much love. Everyone, like, I've seen 0.63 and I've watched the videos and everyone's like, oh, rose tinted glasses for it. For me, that's how I see DayZ. Everyone has rose tinted glasses for Bohemia Interactive and gives them too much credit.
Not on this show, we don't, mate.
Yeah, people in their bedroom are fixing your game, but in your office, you're not. That's my problem with DayZ. Like, you're getting paid to fix this game. There's investors in Beam Interactive, not Adam and stuff like that, because they can only do what they can do. They only have 9 hours in a day. They only get paid what they get paid. They can only do what Beam Interactive, the board behind them, let them do.
Yeah.
They can't just change stuff because they want to. They'll have to go to their boss. They're not the people behind DayZ. The people who are like, nah, this is the budget for DayZ and you have to stick to this budget. That's the people behind DayZ. But if people in the bedrooms can fix this game, there's no reason why Bohemia can't. That's my biggest gripe with DayZ. Like, there's so many great modders out there fixing the game. But Beam Interactive, like, it's not as easy as it sounds. Well, it is. Because a 20-year-old in the bedroom, like, implement that dab is fixing your game. While users saying it's not that easy, but it pretty much is, because people are out there doing it.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. But we do need to remember that, as they've said, with helicopters, for example, yes, there are mods out there that do helicopters, but they're not of the standard that would be expected for them to do it. So a lot of the work's being done, but there'll still be more work required with some of these mods. Like Zyson saying in chat, there is a question of quality of those. Some mods work but have side effects that most don't notice. So that's something that needs to be considered as well. It's not as simple as just grabbing this code, inserting it into the game, and then it works.
I understand that, but like, my gripe is, like, they should be able to do that. They should be able to, because kind of it's their job. If they want to update the game, like what they're doing it now 4 times a year, the update should work, and they never do. It should work. Like everybody here has bought the game, they put time into the game, they've opened servers, they've done mods for free.
It's very hard for it to work though when you're putting it on 3 different platforms and there's 8 people doing all that work. It's impossible.
Oh yeah,
to make that
definitely.
work. It's physically impossible to make that work. Because if that was the case, you'd have 2 updates a year, be one every 6 months, just to put out the small little updates you get as a day. And it just wouldn't work.
I'd
So they
rather
have to do something.
I'd rather have 2 updates than 4. If there was 2 good updates a year, that'd be better than 4 small ones.
They never look. We're splitting hairs on this one. They're never going to please everyone. If they do 2, then they're 2 really solid ones. People will be saying, "Why can't you do 4 really solid ones?" If they do 4 small ones, people will be saying, "Why can't you do 8 small ones?" And they're never going to make everyone happy there.
Well, there's an answer.
They need to do more than they're doing at the moment, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, there's an answer for that. It's just because they don't have the manpower.
Yeah.
So if it was just DayZ PC and there was no console versions of the game, I guarantee you the game would be a lot better right now.
But they should be taking that money that they're earning from console to put back into the game, because they've got to be making a lot of money off console.
Look, they in a perfect world, yes, but they're a business and they've got other things. All businesses, it's up to them how they use their cash flow. I would like to see them use more cash flow on DayZ, but they've got to fund their future projects. They've got hundreds of employees that they need to, So it's in a perfect world, yes, more money into DayZ, but it's not for us to tell them how to spend their money. That's for them.
Oh, definitely not. It'd be nice to see, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I see a lot of like when Armour 4 comes out, a lot of people are going to migrate to that. A lot of the modders, a lot of the people are going to migrate over to there, unless Bohemia Interactive basically put a stop on DayZ mods on Armour 4.
Well, we'll see in June. So
now, Wobo dropped a video, just sharing the link in chat. I'll bring it up. We're not going to play the audio on that for it. We'll just have it going in the background. And if you want to watch it, you can go watch it. But Marks, this is probably more your area of expertise, mate, being a PvPer. The armor versus leg damage.
Yeah, no, I didn't see the video, but I can tell, and I have recordings of this, that when you're playing PvP servers, what people do now since the new update is they shoot you in the leg. They go for leg shots, because the second a bullet hits your leg, you break and you're down on the ground and then you're screwed. Leg shots right now are very powerful. Very powerful. Like it's one tap, like if you get hit with, I think even 5.56 will do it, to be honest with you, and you just one shot and you're down, broken leg, and that's it.
Now, there's some caveats that we need to put on this, Marks. I imagine you play a lot on no stamina servers.
Yeah.
Straight away, that's an issue that you need to bear in mind when you're considering this. If you were to do this on a hardcore stamina PvP server carrying a plate carrier and all the rest of it, the chances of you scoring a leg shot hit are going to be greatly reduced as opposed to vanilla no stamina, because you've got fuck all ability to hold your breath. So, yeah, that's something people need to be aware of. That said, Wobo's video, if you haven't watched it, mate, I highly recommend you go watch it. He breaks it right down. The chances of leg breaks at ranges and so on. Pretty much, if you've got a plate carrier on, don't bother shooting them in the chest. Shoot them in the legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also the chances of hitting them in the legs, because the legs is a moving object compared to the body, which is a bigger hitbox, the legs. So it's going to be, I don't know, I've never really tried it. I guess the legs is quite hard to hit, because the legs, I don't know how it works in DayZ. If you hit between the legs, will it miss? Or will it still count as a hit because it's in the hitbox? But I'm guessing it's quite hard to hit the legs. I don't imagine it's quite easy.
I've been shot in the legs multiple times since this update came out. It probably is hard, but that's just me on no summer servers. I've been shot in the legs multiple times.
Plus, the leg hitbox,
and then they
actually, he shows it later in the video. The leg hitbox goes all the way up to the waist of a character. So the entire groin area it's not just the actual physical legs. It's also the, So it's a bit more than just the legs. And like Wolf by Night is saying, pretty easy with buckshot.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking long-range sniping, it's a lot harder. But if you've got a double barrel and you're up close enough, just aim low and let the buckshot do the rest for you. Good comment, Wolf by Night. Good comment. But yeah, definitely go watch this video, folks. Definitely something that we'll wait and see how it goes. But this is all part and parcel of a lot of the changes with the last patch. Trying to change the gunplay in the game, and it's good to see them doing stuff. We're hacking them for stuff they're not doing, but it is good to see them trying some new stuff. And may not be perfect yet, but it's definitely an improvement. Some people might not agree, but I think it is. Now, this was an interesting one. I'm going to play the audio for this one. The Running Man did a post. I want to talk about this clip. I have sent this in private to DayZ 1 month ago. On the face of it, it looks cool. It shows me getting cornered by zombies using the pistol to melee, then shoot. But it raises some ideas that I think would improve this loads. Why, when out of stamina, can you still not melee with a weapon? And yes, I 100% agree on this. You can with all other melee weapons in the game. If you get cornered by a player with a knife and have a gun in hand, I think you should still be able to melee with it just like you could if you were holding a knife. A pistol is a CQB weapon. Having it race to the sky like it has an erection seems strange. Wouldn't it be cool if a pistol didn't do this? I think you should still be able to return fire when getting close to players' AI with pistols. It would massively increase their usefulness. Now we'll watch the clip.
Blue. At least I'm not bleeding again. I think he's just going to come through that door. Yep. Oh no.
Can't shoot.
That is mad. So what happened there was they blew. At least I'm not bleeding again.
That's what the people were saying with I think it was back when we made the video on or we were talking about the damage system before 112 came out, and people were like, well, why don't they have a stamina bar and then a separate bar for say
oh no,
you're holding your breath and stuff like that. I wonder, could they use that bar for holding the breath and count it towards melee in game with a pistol or something, or weapon in general?
That is mad. So what happened there was they trapped me, they came through the door. I'm bleeding twice now, but I'm trying to run away from any potential other zombies. And I couldn't shoot them because they were too close. And I think that's something that maybe is something the game could look at, maybe it's not. But when you're that close, I think with a pistol you should still be able to shoot those zombies. I don't think they should be able to lock you in the corner. It's a pistol, right? Maybe a long gun, like a shotgun, you shouldn't be able to raise and shoot those zombies from that range. But I think a pistol, you should be able to raise up to your body and shoot those zombies anyway. You shouldn't have to bat them away to shoot them.
Yep. Could not agree more. 100% agree with everything he said there. And I'll post the link to Twitter, because obviously, the more attention things like this get, the more likely DayZ is to pay attention. Yes, it's the Running Man, so they're probably paying attention regardless. But he was 100% bang on the money. With pistols, instead of it pushing it up, the action should be changed. And I know this requires them getting an animator, but it should pull it closer to your body, as opposed to pushing it up into the air. Your arm shouldn't lock. It should pull it close to your body. I can understand if it still affected you with a rifle, even a shotgun. But the smaller weapons, even I would go so far as to say maybe MP5, AK-74U, it pulls it closer to your body so you can still actually shoot them, as opposed to pushing it into the air.
I think it has to do with that weapon raising system, doesn't it?
Yes.
I think that's what's messing that up there.
Yep.
Is that weapon raising thing. So maybe that needs to be tweaked in general.
So for those who don't know, what we're talking about is when you, it's an exploit that people were doing when you could walk up and just push the barrel of a gun through a wall and shoot through it, and shoot the people inside. So they implemented the, I can't remember what the word for it is, but basically the clashing of the objects that they won't, that it makes the gun go up in the air. But the unintended side effect of that has been if you get cornered by infected, unless you remember, and most of the time I completely forget what the melee weapon button is. Like off the top of my head, I think it's middle mouse button, is it, or F?
F.
I completely forget about it, and end up just punching and usually dying from it.
Yeah, that like weapon smack punch with F anyway is, it's not really the greatest. Like, it's alright for maybe smacking a zombie out of the way, but it's rarely used otherwise. It'd be cool if it was, better.
Yeah, the melee system's never been good in DayZ. That's why I wasn't the biggest fan of the zombie changes, because it just didn't really work.
Yep.
It was a good idea implemented. It was. Zombies were too easy, but it was just, for me, it was just like a half-assed, like, try at it. It wasn't like as in depth as it could have been. If I smack a zombie in the head with an axe, I want it to die. Like the zombie should just die, but it just doesn't. It's just like zombies are hard no matter what you hit it with. If I hit it with a stick, it still should be hard. If you hit it with an axe, it should be dead.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
The melee system just doesn't work in DayZ for hard zombies. That's what I think anyway.
Just a quick little update. As I was with the post previously from Asmondian, I asked him if I could make a video on the 50 quality of life things that he had there and spread it out to a wider audience, so it would include the console audience and all this one. He just replied back saying, "Yes, of course, I can do whatever I want with it."
I
so
had
I'll
no
be
doubt he would
making that.
Say you couldn't, mate.
Yeah.
He's one of the nicest guys in the DayZ community. So that's a video to look forward to, folks.
Yeah, but I'll be making that video probably tomorrow. So for next week, we'll have hopefully a load of comments, different replies, and different suggestions from that. So
now, speaking of nice guys in the DayZ community, not only is he a nice guy, but he's also one of the most devilishly handsome men in the DayZ community. MrUtah, how you doing, buddy?
How you going, guys?
You don't get many intros like that in life, do you, mate?
Nah.
Mate, episode 3 was a fucking banger.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it, man.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it now, mate. You know, from the visual effects to our first infected, it was an absolute... Sorry, guys, there's going to be fucking spoilers here. If you haven't watched it, I'll put a link in chat.
Let him go do that first.
Go watch it. But we're going to be talking about episode 3, which was fucking outstanding, mate. Outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite a big one to make. The end, the visual effects at the end was pretty cool. That took a while to do. Obviously, I had a visual effects team doing that for me.
That wouldn't have been cheap.
No, it wasn't cheap. It's very high quality. And that shit doesn't come cheap.
Mate, the flare. I was astounded when you showed that clip that he wasn't even holding a flare. I was like, how the hell did they do that?
Yeah, that was really cool.
They built it, they 3D modeled it, they put pyrotechnic combustion, 3D tracked the smoke, everything. Yeah. They're VFX artists are really, really talented. They, you guys were talking about modding and that kind of stuff. They're kind of like modders at like NASA level. They're like super, super high level. But in terms of modding and that kind of stuff, they're similar in the way that they have to be super patient and they have to work for a long, long period of time for it to work. It takes months and months and months. I mean, imagine some of these mods that people make would take God knows how long.
I just noticed a quick problem, mate. Your YouTube link for your Patreon doesn't work.
Hold on. What do you mean?
I just click on it, and it comes up with this.
404.
Let me try.
Yeah, doesn't work.
That works for me.
Yeah, it's not working for me.
It doesn't, folks. If people could go to Mr. Utah's latest video, and just there's a Patreon link in the description of the video. Click on it and just tell us whether it works or not, because it's coming up in the bar with these extra symbols at the end of it. You can see them at the top of the screen here.
404.
Yeah, mine works.
You must be maybe linking to the creator page, not the viewer page.
Mine is the selector membership level. So anyone who is going to join.
Moonshine saying he got a 404 message as well.
Strange. They might be having issues. Oh, I'll look into that. It's no big deal.
Yeah, definitely look into it.
I mean,
because you possibly had people click on it, because he needs more patrons, folks. Needs more patrons. Give him money so he can keep doing this. Is DayZ going to give you any money?
Oh, look, let's start off with the film and then we can get into that.
Okay, say the film, mate.
So you said you had some questions that you wanted answered.
You've answered the main one. Was when you put up that link with the visual effects graphics. Like, how long did this episode take to make?
Okay, so from conception would have been writing. When was the last release date? So episode 2 was released 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I released it, I took a week break. It took 3 months to make.
Jesus.
And a lot of
That's
people
quite a
might
lot.
look at those and say, oh, well, I could do that in my sleep. That's so easy. Yeah, maybe you can. But what a lot of people don't understand is that property is 3 hours away from Sydney. I've got to get everyone down there. I've got to line it up on a weekend. I had like 150, maybe $200,000 worth of film gear there. So I had to hire all that. I had to get a van down there, catering, makeup. By the way, there's a behind the scenes video coming out, so you can see a little bit of this.
Good.
And obviously Boyd is a patron, so he'll see it a week in advance. The actual production itself doesn't take that long. It was only a 3-day shoot. It's the preparation. It's the writing of the script. It's the lighting designs. It's what lenses am I going to use? Am I going to put it on a dolly? Am I going to use it on a tripod? Am I going to do handheld? Am I going to use
This isn't a guy using a GoPro and a fucking selfie stick. This is a serious, high quality production.
And this is I've said this a million times. It's not like I can't just sit in front of a computer and press stream, and that's my work. Like I have to have so many people involved to get it done. And it costs quite a bit of money, but this is obviously what we want to do and what I want to do. So I enjoy doing it. But to answer all the questions that I get on YouTube is like, finally, why does this take so long? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, no offense to these people, but put 2 and 2 together, man. Of course it's going to take long.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably about 3 months to answer that question.
The other thing as well, which I'm going to encourage everyone. Now, I know not everyone can afford to be a patron or something like that, but what you can do is what I just did on stream. Everyone in the DayZ community should be sharing this. And don't just share it once. Go and share it, it's almost a month now. Well, it is a month since the video came out. Go and share it again. Share it in groups. Share it in Discords that you're part of. Mention it to other people. Get the views in. YouTube is a source of revenue as well. We finally got, when we first had you on, you didn't even have 1,000 subscribers. So I'm guessing you're a fully monetized channel now?
Yeah, I am.
Yep.
That's what I was going to ask, yeah.
I do have one question for you guys. If you look at episode 1, I've got nearly 140,000 views on there. So when I dropped episode 2, basically a few months after that, something happened. I don't know if it's a YouTube algorithm or episode 2 is better than episode 3. But quality over quantity, I agree. Is episode 3 is only at about 7,000 views, I think.
Yeah.
Which to the production team is a bit strange because this episode is massive compared to the other ones.
Was episode 2 the one that was shared by DayZ?
They've all been shown by DayZ.
Oh, they've all been shared, right? Okay.
So DayZ shared episode 3 on Facebook.
Yep.
Twitter. Smoke showed episode 2. Smoke showed episode 3. Lax showed episode 2. Episode 3. Boydie's done them all. Lax has done all of them.
Yes. It would be. It has to be. Just it got picked up by the whatchamacallit.
The algorithm's going to hurt you because you upload rarely. The algorithm favors people who are uploading frequently and of a sufficient length. Like episode 2, you can't even run mid-rolls on because it's less than 8 minutes. Episode 1 is less than 8 minutes. You can't run mid-rolls on. Episode 3, you can run mid-rolls on because it's more than 8 minutes, which you need to be looking at doing. And as much as I hate to say it, but I would probably be encouraging you to have at least 2 to 3 in there. I know some pricks are going to use ad blocker, but you need to be trying to aim for that magic 8-minute mark for every episode, so you can run mid-roll ads during the at least one during the put it at a certain point where it doesn't break the immersion factor sort of thing. But I don't understand how it's only got 7,000 views. I will say that it's partly why I've had it playing in the background, but I've been scrolling it in and out so people who haven't seen it can still go and watch it and not have it ruined for them. But the big name guys, it's great they're showing it, but if they show it, then those people who saw it live on Smokestream or Laxer Stream, they're not going to go and watch the video, which hurts your bottom line.
It's a shame. Like it's a bit of a
double-edged
two-sided coin, isn't it? And Lax and Lax has been specifically very helpful with this whole thing.
Oh, he's been pushing you massively.
Yeah, we gave away some keys together and we had a really good week, and that was really fun. But it's I want to do an episode 4. But to be completely candid with the community, I can't afford it. This shit isn't cheap. And I don't want the community raising money again because it's not actually their job. It's a beautiful thing what they did, and a big shout out to AWOL Games for that. That he it's not his job to put in $3,000-$4,000. Do you know what I mean? It's advertising for the game. And if you put all the films together, you've probably got over 250,000 views or something. And a lot of people actually came back to play the game because of the films that they'd just seen. In my opinion, that kind of falls on DayZ. So
I've never even heard of the videos.
Yeah,
That's
there you go.
thing. Like, it's not pushed in. And I love DayZ. I watch streamers. I follow Reddits, everything. Never heard of, no offense, you or the videos. I think that's probably one of the main problems, that they're not marketed well enough, even though they get published by DayZ.
Do you share the, I know DayZ shares them, but do you yourself share them on the DayZ Reddit and the DayZ Facebook? There's a group page there for that, and
I've shared. Yeah. I try to stay clear of Reddit.
Reddit's massive. There's a subreddit on DayZ and it's huge. The mega thread on DayZ Reddit is massive. It's huge. So anything you do,
I'll try. Yeah. I didn't have much success on there, but
it can be toxic. The Reddit is just full of tools, but it's a good place to promote videos. I do it. I don't like the place either, but I do it because it's another way to get views and stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing to do, like you are doing, was the behind the scenes videos. Upload them alongside an episode or whatever, will also do well. But it'll just bring more views to your channel as well. More views means more money, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it would be nice to get this episode up to the 100,000s like the other one, which we I mean, creating the flare at the end and the helicopter crashing is it's foreshadowing for a helicopter crash site. I mean, that's pretty big for a little DayZ film, we find. So we thought that was going to be kind of a big moment, but yeah,
message some server owners. Like a lot of server owners have a lot more bigger community than streamers. Like some of the biggest servers, Discords, can have 10,000 people in them. That's a bigger reach than some of the streamers. See, if I just ask, say, can you share this? They're only going to say yes or no.
Yeah,
and
true.
I'll be watching them when I go to bed. But yeah, that's the only thing I could say is some servers have thousands of people in them, and a link's better than a stream from a streamer because they don't click your video to watch the stream. Where if someone puts it in a Discord, they're going to click the link, not watch the stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's not really my forte, the whole marketing. I mean, I've some people are very good at it. I think our expertise is more just making the films. But that's something we probably got to get better at.
Another thing that could do it could be something simple as, did your tags from, we'll say, like episode 2 to episode 3, the tags on the bottom when you're filling out all the info for the video, did they change? Like, are they the same as episode 2? Is there something that you maybe missed out on? Because
I think
tags can have a lot of stuff to do with it as well. It could be just that the algorithm just didn't pick it up. You have stuff like that.
It's got to be the algorithm because, the views have dropped, but I don't know how it works. But I'm guessing if someone watches 10 seconds of an 8-minute video, it's still a view. So it's not the quality of the video. It's just the fact.
Also, I will say now, and this is coming from pretty much every DayZ content creator out there at the moment, views for DayZ on YouTube in general are down quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
I've noticed there's some of the bigger channels out there have noticed it as well. There's no reason for it. We can't see why. It's probably just, people are maybe losing interest in the game a bit at the moment. And then, by wintertime, it'll probably skyrocket again. But at the moment, views for DayZ in general are quite down. So that's just another thing to keep an eye out about.
People's attention span shifted. That's why Minder and the Running Mans are doing 60-second videos.
Yeah.
Blame for TikTok, basically, because Minder's videos are great. At the 60 seconds, people can click on them, go, oh, that was funny. Look at the next clip.
Only thing is, though, those short videos, if you upload them to YouTube and they do really well, they don't make anything in revenue whatsoever.
Yeah, but it's a marketing tool for them. People see it, and they've got generally the top links are links to their Twitch channel. Want to see more like this, so it's basically a way, because Twitch sucks for promoting people outside of the website. So they're using YouTube as a gateway drug to trying to get those people to come over and watch them live on Twitch. So it's just a marketing tool.
There's another thing is maybe put like a teaser or the teasers on TikTok as well, 60 seconds long. Some people do it as well. It's just another great promotion tool as well. And if a video, one of those videos explodes on TikTok, could get hundreds of thousands of likes and millions of views.
That is a good idea. You've got this 58-second, 1-minute teaser.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. I put them up there. They haven't really done crazy well for me, but, it's because it's DayZ. But if you've done like these real life things, there's a possibility that they could take off on YouTube or on TikTok. And,
Whether it being a real life thing or not, whether it being actual, it doesn't need to be people who are a fan of DayZ. Because just needs to be a fan of a film.
I was going to suggest on that the names as well. The names of each episode. Maybe look at a more artistic sort of name instead of just Churnerous DayZ episode 2, DayZ episode 3, DayZ episode 1. To try to, some people may look at it and go, DayZ, oh, not interested. But if it's something different, a name and then Generous DayZ episode 3 or something like that, maybe that might entice some people. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good idea. Yeah, like I said, we just pour the effort into the films and then hope for the best.
So, what was the situation with Bohemia backing you in any way?
So I've spoken to Scott a few times. However, I feel that Scott may not be the right person to talk to. He might not be high enough in the ladder. So if you've got anyone else I can speak to,
No,
because
he's the highest I know.
I've already been approached by multiple game companies.
Do it.
To potentially create films for other games. I don't want to. I'd like to keep doing the DayZ thing, but it's a commercial thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a bigger and better film and more people to see, different mediums for your game to market itself, then you kind of got to pony up and join the club. Otherwise, someone else will.
Look at Tarkov. Have you seen the videos that Escape from Tarkov have made? The real life.
They're awesome.
Ones from that, they're unbelievable. And the crews that they have for that, and I think they fund all that as well. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
and they have hundreds, thousands, millions of views.
This is my point with DayZ. I don't play Tarkov, but I've seen the Tarkov videos, but I've not seen the DayZ videos.
I'm actually surprised you haven't, McKie, because barely a week goes past that we don't mention MrUtah on this show, in one way, shape, or form. Yeah, I'm always tweeting his stuff out, and it honestly surprises me that you haven't heard of it.
I haven't heard of him, but that's what I'm saying. Like about Bohemia, that they hate themselves, or they hate DayZ, because I've seen Tarkov and they don't want to back somebody who wants to do something for DayZ. They just don't want to back him when they should. They should back him. They should be making enough money a week to back this guy to make these videos. They should be making it and they should be pushing it. They should be putting it interest in the game, but they're just not. I don't understand how it works. Like, I really don't.
Guys, if you've got any ideas at all, MrUtah is a sponge. He loves getting feedback from people, and any ideas on ways that he could promote it, hit him up on Twitter. I'll go to the...
Yeah, let me know. I'm going to... I'm in contact with the official Bohemia team, so I've got an email I've got to send to them. There's also a couple of other games. One of them Boydie knows about, but we can't talk about that. And we'll see how we go. I mean, there's the beautiful thing about film is there's such potential to give someone another dimension of the game that they love. Playing the game is one thing, but if you can make a real life film that draws them in, because we live in real life, then that's such a great way to market the game, and also it's not just about marketing the game, it's giving the players an experience that they don't usually get. And I've had amazing feedback on these films. People love them. And they just want more and more and more. But
it's probably the DayZ stigma. That's what I'd say. It's probably the stigma of DayZ that is fucking you over. Like, if you want to implement DayZ, implement it at like the end. Because like Boydie or Mark said, when people see DayZ, they just think, DayZ.
Ah, interesting.
So implement the actual... So have the 8-minute film and in the last 10 seconds, make it apparent it's DayZ. Instead of making it apparent it's DayZ at the beginning and by the title. So like the person's already watched the video and then they get the DayZ at the end. So you've already basically suckered them into the video. Obviously the video is good, but make it apparent that it's like a DayZ video at the end of the video, not at the beginning.
Now, I do need to ask something. Just looking at the comments on the video, it did remind me of something. Worst DayZ player ever. He dropped a fire axe, upgraded to a shovel, killed a guy, and left his fucking rifle behind.
Okay. I'm glad you asked this question, because I can finally address this question. Now, in real life, just keep in mind this is inspired. This is not directly the game. If you had nothing on you, and there was someone coming back in a car who's probably fully decked out, what the fuck are you gonna do?
I would have grabbed that rifle, man. No ifs, buts, or maybes. I would have grabbed that rifle and run with it.
You would have picked a 308 with a 12 times scope on it to try and kill someone who's right in front of you. I'm sorry, but you were in the army, and that just wouldn't happen.
Whitey is also a severe loot hoarder as well, so he would have tried
I would have
everything in his will
had the
try
axe,
and
the
get that
shovel,
gun.
the table, the decorations on the
He would have
wall,
tried
and
everything.
been running out.
If it was probably any other player that didn't have a severe hoarding problem, they probably would have just left the gun and remembered where it was and came back to it.
And when I wrote that script, that scene is an ode to DayZ's pain, because the amount of times you go to get something and something happens
Yep.
and fucks you
Mhm.
over.
Yeah.
Scene is a painful ode. You're like, fuck, I was so close, and then you got nothing again.
Yeah.
So
I do like
know-
the comment here. Yes, a freshie with a shovel, the most dangerous of opponents. That was a nice little thing to put in as well.
and it is, like,
We've all had our head bashed in by a freshie with a shovel.
yeah, and you've got M4s decked to the shit house with extra clips strapped on the side, and you just get one hit, and you're like, oh fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I had a question for whenever hypothetically the final episode comes out, whenever that may be, and it's all said and done and the DayZ series is wrapped up, would you ever consider then putting all of those episodes into one big,
yes, for sure.
like 2
definitely.
hour movie, however long it is?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely would. At this, I would like to end the episode. I'd actually like to end the series potentially on the next episode. So it'd be just a 4 mini kind of more mini series ending.
Right.
However, in order to get to the level, because I've just dropped a flare and a helicopter crash site, I mean, that's probably going to be a pretty expensive episode. Not really in the grand scheme of film.
Yeah.
It's really not that expensive, and in the grand scheme of a multi-million-dollar company, it's really not that much money. But for me, as
Yeah.
a 29-year-old filmmaker, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So at this current point in time, I don't actually have. I'd like to do the next episode, but
So
commercially
wouldn't
speaking, yeah,
you know the way these other game companies were reaching out to you to make films for
Yep.
their games?
Yep.
Would that be an idea to maybe do those things to gain either revenue for yourself as well, and then as a hobby, then finish off the DayZ episodes down the
Yes.
line whenever you
Yeah.
have enough,
sure.
that
Yeah,
way?
absolutely. Because the idea of MrUtah is he's just an alias, and it's a channel that creates extremely high-level films based on games. I want to attack
Yeah.
as many games as I can. There's so many cool games to be made. DayZ's just
Yeah.
the start,
True.
and it's potentially time to move on to the next one. I don't want to leave this one behind, but as I've just stated, it just can't happen unless I make another episode that's cheap and simple, and it just doesn't really give that bang for buck that people are probably expecting. I don't really feel
Yeah.
comfortable doing that because
You got
I've set you
standards.
guys up, So yeah, that's kind of my position at the moment.
It's
Yeah,
it really is. I as much as I'm saying, go support a Patreon. I don't even think 100 patrons would be sufficient of enough budget. This really needs backing from Bohemia Interactive. So Bohemia, if you're watching this, please look at it. The community love this stuff. And I totally agree with what Mark said, or was it you, McKie, about make it more apparent that it's DayZ related at the end of the video, to capture people who might be turned off, because DayZ has a lot of people who hate it just because it's DayZ. Show me on the doll where DayZ touched you.
I don't know these things.
Yeah.
I literally, I innocently just looked at the game and said, "Oh, that'll make a good film. It's cool stories. This happens. Blah blah blah."
It's that and all that. Like Mark said, that he's going to have to like make future projects to get a revenue to come back to DayZ when that shouldn't happen. Like a man shouldn't have to go to work to earn money to then think his hobby. When Bohemia could just help him out. They could just slide him a few $1,000s just to make an episode and then push it really hard. He shouldn't have to make like videos for the next 2 games and come back with his money to finish the DayZ project when DayZ Bohemia could have just helped him to start with.
Lax is in chat right now. Lax, we need to get this man more patrons.
Nah, I look, to be honest, Boydie, I agree. The Patreon is a long route and that kind of stuff. But as I stated before, it's not really the community's. It's not their problem at the moment. It's kind of it makes me feel guilty taking money from people who probably just have normal day jobs to get this stuff done when you've got millions of dollars of sales based on the game that we're making films on. But, you know, the best you can do is send some t-shirts. You know, like it's kind of taking the piss.
Yeah, I'm the same with you. That's how I feel. But I think DayZ now, like the players, they shouldn't help you, but they probably will because the community is the best thing about DayZ.
Yeah, they're beautiful people.
If enough people hear about you, that they will back you and you will be able to make your next film. Because the DayZ community is probably the most dedicated game community out there. And if people enjoy your videos and they want to see more, they will pay for it. Because DayZ is just probably the best game community out there.
But then, is there a little bit of a thing where DayZ go, okay, we'll back you, but we want this in the film, or we want you to do that? Like, is there a
I'm
bit of a fear
happy to? I'm of course happy to work with them and say, you know, let's say, for example, that they have a new thing coming out in the game, and they say we want to put this in the script because it's part of the new patch release or whatever. Fine, man, let's do it.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would work.
Yeah.
You know, these are. It's just creative. It's, you know, creative relationships, and you know, the most successful games and most successful teams, not just games, anything on the internet, any sort of company, they have to be malleable, you know, and they're the ones that make it, that really make it. And you know, Scum's a standout for me. Their marketing and their attitude is awesome. And the little films they make and that kind of stuff, they're very cool. Very, very cool. So I think they're doing a pretty good job. Tarkov's doing a really good job.
Tarkov ones are just mind blowing.
Even with the re-release of World of Warcraft Burning Crusade, Blizzard just released a full, like 3-minute, 2-minute film, full production. You know, super cool. It's becoming a thing. You know, this is not just MrUtah didn't just start this thing. This thing has been going on for a while. It's just, you know, kind of pottering in the background.
Look, you think back to the old Call of Duty live action trailers that they would do when they were releasing a new one. They were fucking amazing. The Halo ODST live action trailer.
Sick. Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
And the thing with the Call of Duty ones was they had YouTubers in those live action trailers.
Yeah.
Call of Duty YouTubers in those live action trailers. You know, they'd be like, okay, you're doing well in this, we'll push you in the, you know, like it's just.
I still remember my favorite content creator from Call of Duty 4 was Zagriz, who was a sniper. Like I still remember him. I still remember him to this day. Yeah.
Like the best time to.
And I've seen those. Yeah.
The best time to like release say if Bohemia did work with you and they're like, right, you know, we have a new patch coming out soon and we want to add this to it. And so the best time to release those videos then would be around the day of the update or the day after the update, because that's when DayZ gets its most traffic on YouTube. And I know this from just uploading those update videos. You know, that's when you'll, you know, everybody's searching for DayZ, everybody's wanting to know what's in the new update, and if you just tag it right and title it right, you know,
Marketing's
well.
free if marketing's free if you do it right. There's
Thing
a
is-
lot of ways to market a game if it's done right. It just depends
Yeah.
if the audience works for you. It's like I got into DayZ. I built a PC 2 years ago with my friend, and I seen DayZ on YouTube, and then I played it, and I was like, "What the fuck's this?" And I was like, "This isn't what I've seen on YouTube." And then I found out there was modded servers, and I was like, "Fuck this shit," and I never played vanilla since. That's
Yeah.
basically that was my first view of DayZ. I played vanilla. I was like, "What the hell's going on here? Where's all this cool stuff? Like, what's this?" And then basically when I found out, I didn't even know modded servers exist because I come from console. I come from PlayStation 4, and that's how I jumped on it straight away. It was just through streamers. Like that was I wouldn't have even knew DayZ wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for like the Running Mans. And I honestly can't even tell you how I found his videos.
Yeah, it's we see really big potential for the MrUtah team and ideas and going to other games and that kind of stuff. So we're going to keep trucking along and approaching other games.
Yeah, definitely.
As I said, I'd really like to finish off the DayZ series with a bang. That's got a price tag on it, and at the moment we can't afford that. So just have to see how we go.
Like there's even ways to, so like say you go to other games and they hire you to make certain movies and stuff, and those movies do really well on YouTube. They're going to pay, a decent bit of money. You could then maybe even keep that money for the DayZ stuff at the end if you want.
But honestly, it
there's
comes
so many
down
different
to
ways you can.
how much of a fan are you of DayZ?
Yeah.
Is if you do, let's throw it out there. You make millions from this. Is DayZ such a passion to you that you would continue this as a passion project, or is it something that you probably got something else you're a bit more passionate about that you'd rather do as a passion project?
Well, at the moment, the passion is this channel, and DayZ, like I said, DayZ's just I've just chosen DayZ to start. We really enjoy making these films. I can tell you that right now. We have a really good time. The crew loves it. We all get together. There's a fair few professionals there that are, they're saying, "This is so cool, man. Like, thanks for bringing me on board." And, we're creating a little sub community based out of a game, based out of making a film on a game.
Maybe you should pay for it because if like Max said, like you go forward and do loads of films, say like at the end you profited, I don't know, £4,000. Do you go, do I take my family on holiday if you have one? Or do I go on holiday? Or do I make this DayZ video? Like by the time you've made your money and say you've got $4,000 spare, do you say, all right, do I enjoy my life or do I just make another DayZ video? I think most people would just be like, nah, I want to go on holiday. I've worked really hard. Or do you make this DayZ video?
Yeah,
That's where Bohemia should pay for it. Like you're doing stuff for them. You're
The
making
thing
them money.
is, though, with the Bohemia should pay for it. DayZ isn't Bohemia's priority right now.
Oh no, but it still should.
So
if they put 80% into Armour, they should put 20% into DayZ and still back it a little
Maybe
bit.
make an Armour series then. Maybe they'll pay you to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, funnily enough, I like you already know, Boydie, but the DayZ I played was Armour 2 mod. That was the best DayZ ever made, hands down. Standalone is trash compared to that. That's my opinion.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Drama!
No, but that's because that's the DayZ that I played.
Yeah.
And that's what got me. When I started this thing, I thought back 8-10 years ago. Fuck yeah, I was like, yeah, that shit was so cool. Playing with the boys on Epoch servers and all that kind of stuff. That was so fun. So, it's come a long way, and I've had to adapt it to standalone. And funnily enough, I then enjoyed playing standalone a lot because of the community I met. When I'd go play on the day one servers, I'd end up running into Lax, and I'd be like, "Hey, it's MrUtah." I'd be like, "Hey, MrUtah," and then I'd end up getting fucking my head beaten in, and it was really fun. But the community is super cool in this game. I feel that sometimes they get taken for a ride, which is probably not very nice. But, people like Boydie like to speak out on that, which is a good thing. He's a good spokesperson and representative for the community. So it's look, we'll see how we go. It's I just had to take a bit of a rest because this episode took quite a long time and took a lot of energy, quite a bit of money. So I had to work a bit to get that back. So couldn't do anything else.
Yep.
But yeah, well, I guess we'll just see how we go, really.
Well, we wish you all the best, mate. We're huge fans of what you do. I hope to God there's a way that you can continue doing the series, because I want to know what happens next. I want to know what happens with the chopper crash and the car that drove up on the farm, and
yeah,
I want to hear him talk as well.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right now is we want to be in a. I mean, I've got a lot of friends and contacts in Sydney and studios. I want to be in a green screen studio where we bring in a bit of a helicopter and then we build it out of visual effects, and he's in the helicopter crash site looting. That's what we want to do, and that's what you guys want to see. Trust me, it would be insane if you could see that.
Yeah.
It would just blow. It would just be, if you could bring that into real life, it'd be nuts. And then
you said before it's not up to us to fund it, but I'm certain if enough of us put our head together, we can do maybe a fundraiser stream or some sort of event or something, because you are part of the community, and as weird as this sounds, but the streamers make their money from the community. The community support them because they like watching them do what they do. It's no different to us maybe doing something to try to fund an episode 4, and if needs be an episode 5. If enough of us, I'll have a chat with Lax and you, and we'll see what we can come up with, and just work out a way to. I don't want to see it end. It's too fucking good to let it end on the note that it's on. What do you reckon, Marks?
Yeah, something like that could be doable for sure.
Yeah, look, I have endless appreciation for you guys, and it's an amazing thing. It definitely puts me in an awkward position because I don't want that to have to happen. I really don't. As I said, I'll be speaking to Bohemia, and I would really, really like them to. They don't have to put in a lot of money. It just has to be something. Or cover the cost of all the production hire or something. You know what I mean? So there's some stuff there that I'll...
Don't feel awkward at all about it though, mate, because that same mentality applies to streamers like me. I press the go button, like button, because I've got people who have subscribed to me, and who may subscribe to me or donate to me while I'm doing it, or sign up to my Patreon. That's just the way this model works, and you're just doing a different type of model. You're not a streamer on Twitch or YouTube. You're making videos for our entertainment. And yes, you can make ad revenue from YouTube, but we all know how little that is. Unless you're making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of views, you're never going to get rich from YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's we've had an absolute blast making these. It's very, very exciting. There's a couple of things in the episode that I thought you would have picked up on, Boydie, but maybe you've lost your touch after all your years.
No, it's been a while since I watched the episode.
In the scene where he runs across from the house into the shed, and then the sniper on the hill is running down the hill. If you listen to that music, let's listen to it again before I tell you. Let's see if you can pick up on what it is. It's pretty subtle.
Is it copyright music?
No, this is composed by a professional composer. These are the things I'm talking about. Like, the guy who does this does films. He's not just some Joe Schmo. So if you just skip to where he goes, keep going. Keep going. Yep, keep going. Keep going. Right after the gunshot. So, yeah, we're coming up here. Right here. So turn this up.
That is up.
I can't hear it.
If you right click on the video, you can turn your audio up. You might have it muted. If you right click and you see
I
stream volume.
I got it. Yeah.
Got that, yeah.
So this music here.
Yeah.
Luxy's saying he knows it.
Yeah, he does.
What is it?
Listen to the offbeats. What does that sound like?
It does sound familiar to me, but no, I've got no clue.
Think of when you're in the military and you have to communicate to someone.
No.
Morse code.
Ah. We never
And
played
guess
with
what
Morse code. I did one test on it at basic training.
What does it say, Morse code?
DayZ.
Oh, is it actually?
Clever.
That's pretty cool.
So these are the things that we put in. No one got it. It's obviously super duper subtle, and you've got to be a complete fucking Morse code geek to even get that. But you know, these are the things that me and the composer worked on to kind of put in these little things for the community. But I wanted to wait for the podcast to let you guys know that because we thought it was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
No, I totally missed it. No, there was, if anything, the music sounded familiar to me, like it was from, but that was more the heavy sort of bass and industrial sort of sound to it.
Yeah, so
it was great music. It really was.
He is Matt Stavan. He's unreal composer, and to have him on the team. I mean, when I say we, I mean we as a DayZ community are so lucky to have him on this. He's so good. He himself is worth a lot of, money to pay to do this sort of stuff.
But it's criminal. It's only got 7,197 views. We need to share this more, folks, and get this more views. Share it wherever you fucking can. Anything. Twitter, Instagram, bloody Chatterbait, OnlyFans, whatever.
Fucking OnlyFans. But yeah, so no, it was a great episode. Had a really good time. Looking forward to releasing the behind the scenes. The behind the scenes is not very super comprehensive, but it's kind of a fly on the wall thing, so you can see a few things going on, which is nice.
Actually, if Lax is still in chat, I want to ask, Lax, are you disappointed there was no blood flying on his face?
We unfortunately we actually ran out of time in that scene, and I was like, look, we just got to get this done. And yes, I wanted blood to spray on his face, but there was some complications, so we just had to get through it.
Yep.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are the little things that, when you've got time and money, you can really go, no, that has to be done. Has to be done.
Like says, I'm just disappointed about the no backing. It's amazing. So yeah. And look, the other thing as well, folks, one of the best perks is I got to see this episode nearly a week before everyone else. If you loved the series, that alone, I think I bragged about it on the podcast, Marks, that I've already seen it. So suck eggs to the rest of you. But that alone for me was worth every fucking... It's only $7. $7. What are you doing watching me if you don't have $7? Back in, folks. Just fucking do it. I'm joking as well. That was my Bad Bunny impression. Yeah. That scene there, that just totally blew me away when you see the Twitter post that you made and that's all CGI. I was, wow, okay. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy to be able to share that little visual effects wipe for you guys. Because, we filmed that in the middle of the field. So that flare, I made that flare with a end of a broom. I cut it, to the spec of the size of a flare, and then I put little green visual effects markers around the top
Mm-hmm.
so that they could track it. So then he basically pulled it out and just pretended he would have it, and then they'd use the visual effects tracking markers to 3D model it, put the smoke on top, the light, and then the light fall off beneath him. And then when he looked up at the sky, they used his eye line to create the helicopter crashing in that eye line.
It's really cool.
That actually took quite a while to get done. So that's kind of why it took ages to release, because we were just waiting on that to be finished, because visual effects takes so much longer than production, always.
And I do like the fact that you've got the tins of food now as well.
Yeah, so I made those as well.
Yep.
I photo with help of Inclement Dab, so shout out to him for helping me. Thank you, brother. He got me the files from the game. I then photoshopped them into the standard dimensions of a can, then tested it, then got them professionally printed and put them around the cans and dirtied them all up, and they look exactly like the game. So
Yeah.
They do.
we were super happy with
Because
that.
I remember we talked about that on the show when we had Inclement Dab and you on. And he was like, yeah, man, I can hook you up with that. That's easy.
Yeah, and that was
And
ages ago now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a while ago. But yeah, he's been super helpful. Like, you know, everyone's been very, very helpful. But to get those game files was absolutely fantastic. So.
And yes, you know, so don't feel bad about asking the community if we can come together and rally somehow, mate. Because, you know, I myself, and I know Lax feels the same. We're personally invested in this, mate. You're the guy who's footing all the financial responsibility for it. But this isn't just your project. This is our project. This is the community's project. You know, I like to think that the podcast has been a big part of this as well. So if there's anything we can do, like I said, you know, I'll have a chat with some people and see if we can't work something out, and see if we could do a fundraiser of some sort. You know, we'll need to talk to you as well to, you know, what sort of figure we're talking about, because, you know, have a clear goal for the community to reach in that. But yeah, we'll fucking, if we can make it happen, mate, I want to see it happen, and I'm certain the community does as well.
No, it'd be amazing. We'll see how we go. I wouldn't count Bohemia out at the moment. You know, you never know what they're talking about back in the office. Pretty optimistic guys, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I could even put it in the start of a video if we did do a fundraiser or something, you know, and all that stuff. So there's multiple different ways if we did go down that route that you could do it and get the word spread. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and look, there's for the next one, because I there's a few things I want to do in a studio. What the community would get out of it is I would live stream the production, so I could stop and chat to the community while we're doing it. So you'd be a fly on the wall, you know, cameras are flying everywhere, people are doing all these things. But then when it's lunch break, we'll just chill in front of the stream and answer questions, talk to people. What are you working on? You know, that kind of interaction.
Yeah,
that's
that would
probably
be
the
pretty
best
cool.
thing to do. Because I think most people watch the stream because they're invested in the person, not the game. Like I know loads of people who watch DayZ and don't even play it. Like and a lot of people who nobody watches the Running Mans because they like DayZ. They watch the Running Mans because they like Paul.
That's like Paul has he's gone above and beyond, but for most streamers, one of the biggest complaints you'll see is they switch games and they lose a lot of people, mate. So no, there are very few. You really only talk about the tippy tops, your summits, your shrouds, who can switch between games.
Like I don't watch Shroud because I think he's boring to watch. Like him himself is quite boring. Shroud's not a fun person to watch. Like he's not. He's good at the game. Whatever he plays, he's good at. But he's boring to watch. Like I don't understand why he has an actual following. Where the Running Mans actually enjoy watching Running Mans because I like him. I enjoy watching Gecko Fish because I like him. I think it's more of a personal level than the actual game. It's like I said like Shroud. I don't understand how 60,000 people watch Shroud play, because he's just he
He's
has
a monster.
yeah,
Well,
he
it all
just has-
started from I used to play Counter-Strike many years, and it all started there. You know, when he played for Cloud9 and he was a professional Counter-Strike player. He was a god. Like he's one of the best Counter-Strike players of all time. And that's where it all started. You know, he would pull off shots that you know maybe only a handful of like Get Right and all those Swedish professionals, a handful of people could do. And that's why people watched him, because he was
Same
just like,
with-
holy shit.
Yeah.
And then
Same
he
as
ended up
PUBG
playing
streams.
PUBG, and then PUBG, he took that Counter-Strike knowledge, because Counter-Strike's the highest skill cap FPS there is in the game, in the world, because it's just pure aim and positional knowledge. So when he took that to PUBG, he just destroyed everyone. It was like the easiest game for him.
Watch him every day play PUBG.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah, he was just, it's fucked up how good he was, actually.
Yeah, it really was.
But
yeah,
to answer your question, that's why people watched him.
yeah, I understand that, but I just don't get like. I have to be like kind of like invested in a person. I have to enjoy like what the person, not what he's doing, but like the person. He has to be funny, entertaining, or something like that. Like that's why I watch people. Maybe everybody else is different, but I don't watch Shroud. I know he's amazing at what he does, but he is just him himself as a camera, but he's boring to watch.
Yeah,
He's
yeah. Well,
boring.
I
He's
fully
boring
agree
to
with
look-
you.
Yeah, he's like everyone says. He's like an alien. Like
Yeah,
he
but
just, he has no-
Summit's pretty similar. He's a bit of a,
Yeah.
so, you know. But
yeah.
then you
what
watch
you mean.
Lax, and he's just, you know, in tears laughing, being a psychopath, and it's hilarious. you
Yeah.
know. I've cried laughing so many times watching that guy. I swear to God.
Yeah, that's why I'd rather watch Lax than
Yeah.
Shroud, because Lax is like entertaining on a different level.
Yeah,
Like
for
Lax is
sure.
entertaining, not the game. Like Lax gives you that entertainment himself.
He's also a very humble person, so there's a really nice interaction with his community. Like I remember when I first came into this community, I think he was averaging maybe 600 to 800. I mean, now he's hitting the 1.1s, 1.2s, but he's still the same. He's still, thanks for the follow, thanks for this. Usually when people get up to that, they don't even thank people for follows. They probably don't even really give a shit anymore. But I wouldn't know. I'm not a streamer. I don't really know how it works. But he's kept his. It might be an Australian thing. I don't know. But he's just a pretty good Aussie bloke. I don't think he's going to change whether he goes from 1K to 20K.
Yeah,
That's good of him to do, because when you have that many viewers and your chat is going super fast and just notifications coming, it's difficult to keep up with everything.
And I think
It
people
really is.
just give up. They just go, oh, fuck it. People love
It
me
just
anyway.
becomes too much to handle.
Yeah.
You know, it just becomes, you end up spending more time reading your chat than you do actually playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at Asmongold, for example, like I'm an avid World of Warcraft fan. I've played my whole life. And I'll be playing Burning Crusade because it's going to remind me when I was 14, 15 years old. A lot of people, he just watches videos now, but he's getting 60,000 people watching.
Yeah.
That being
crazy.
said, he's a pretty smart guy and he's got some really good opinions on the company and he knows the game better than anyone. So people who watch him actually really love the game. And that's his community and they vibe on that. And he's very similar to Boydie in the way that he is not scared to call out the game company. He does it on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen
I saw that recently with I think there was some MMO game or something coming out, and he tweeted about it in a twit longer, and he just went on this big massive rant about how the game was going to die before it even came out because they were going to do microtransactions and all
it
this
was
shit.
the Amazon's new game, New
Yes,
World.
that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's right. He's 100% right.
Yeah. He is.
You know, it's like if DayZ brought out in-game perks, the game would die before they could even implement it.
Yeah. But
And yeah, so I know what you mean by the whole Shroud stream thing, but you got to understand, people who get in early on this streaming thing, like Summit was a good example. Summit was like one of the first streamers. And it's just because he's been there for a long time, you know? He's been there for a heap long. So for a lot of you upcoming streamers, I'm I'm not a streamer, and I seriously don't think I could do it. It must be so hard. Like the amount of hours you've got to put in, and you got to sit in front of that computer for fucking 14 hours, man. That sounds like a nightmare.
I wouldn't like to stream again.
Your head does be fried afterwards. So I don't stream that much. I do stream from time to time on YouTube, but like I'm no lax or anything like that. But even with the viewers I get, it's just your head to be fried after. You don't want to even look at the computer. And
Yeah, so
hobby, so that your hobby then becomes a job. I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
I'd enjoy gaming as much if I was like, I have to game for 10 hours to do. Like, there's no choice of it. I'd just pretty much get bored of it straight away.
yeah, and that's where a lot of people have respect for Lax, because he's doing double streams, man. He's like streaming in the morning for his American UK crowd. He's taking a break, having lunch, spending time with the kids. Then he's popping back on for his Australian crowd. Like, the dude's an animal. He's pulling
that is crazy.
16-hour days, and he's enjoying it, and he's killing it, and his population's going up, which is really good to see, because it means that putting in the effort is actually working. It's really good to see. And I think another shout out I'd like to give, if possible, is to Dude Thor.
No,
He's been really
you're not allowed to. No, retract the last. Of course, dude Thor is a fucking legend.
He's been really helpful. He's been really nice, and he's supported me heaps. And there's one thing I want to stress is that guy's been streaming for 2 years, and he's not averaging more than 40 or 50, which to me is kind of bizarre, because I think he's a really good streamer. So, I mean, if you guys can help him somehow, please do, because he's a legend. He's a massive legend.
Well, we'll rate him at the end. He's live right now.
Yeah, he's put a link. He's had a link in his stream since like episode 1 about my stuff. Amish Zed's the same. He's done Amish. I don't actually know how to say it, but he's been really helpful.
He's overrated. Well. Cheddar is the star of that show.
Who's Cheddar?
Cheddar's his bird. Amish Zed.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm not a fan. But the bird. I'm joking. Amish Zed's fucking awesome. We've had him on as well.
He's a really nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if he does think Spider-Man's better than Batman.
He's been one of the really helpful guys when it comes to the films. I never saw a lot of support from any of the UK streamers like Running Man or Sour or Sada or any of those guys. Not sure why, but maybe they
it's that whole British thing. They think they're better than us, that we're just convicts.
Oh, look, my dad's English. I say this all the time.
Speaking of Sarah, though, he is one person who is just blown up on Twitch. He's only been streaming, I think, 3 months maybe, and has 30,000 followers. He has 1.2k viewers nearly every stream now.
Yeah,
to do that in 3 months is crazy.
You could fall asleep to Sour just speaking.
Yeah. He's a chill guy, eh?
Like, no matter what happens, you don't hear him panic, you don't hear him shout. He's like a southerner for me. Like, he lives in the south. He's just like quiet, calm voice, like in any situation.
Thing is, though, mate, a lot of people are reluctant for whatever reason to get behind something. You could say if they can't see a benefit to themselves, they won't. But it does disappoint me. I would like to see more people, do more, be a bit more selfless, for want of a better way of putting it. But it's their life, their stream, their whatever. They can do what they want with it.
Yeah, absolutely they can, and no one wants handouts. But I'll tell you this right now: like the MrUtah team. This is as candid as I can be to you guys, to the DayZ community, to Bohemia themselves. If a game comes to me and says, here's 50 grand to make a film, what the fuck do you think I'm going to do?
Do it.
Fucking oath.
It'll be baby. Money talks, man.
Get that bag.
If you put in the effort for something and someone says, that was cool, but I want you to do it for me, that's the whole idea of the commercial business concept that we started. Is that's what MrUtah is. So, I really do want to finish this DayZ thing, and you guys are awesome. I've been on this 3 or 4 times now. I've had some awesome interactions with you guys, and some hype, and been in all these different streams. The amount of online friends I've made, I could go into any of these DayZ streams and I go, oh, it's MrUtah, and that's a really cool thing, It's not me.
It doesn't put food on the table, mate.
Me,
That doesn't put food on the table.
No, it doesn't. But it's a pathway to putting food on the table, I believe.
Yeah.
So definitely optimistic about that. But I still remain, my point of view, I still remain that it's not the community's job, and there is a guilty feeling when that shit happens.
I wouldn't feel guilty. The community keeps DayZ alive. It's just how it is.
When AWOL gave me $3,000 or $3,500 or something, I know he gave some other streamer like $20,000, but to me that was like 2/3 of the budget, for that film, and that was a massive thing. He literally made that happen. So he's, I've said thanks so many times to that guy, but he didn't need to do that. It's a lot of money, man.
It is. It certainly is.
And for a single person, that's a lot of money. For a company, it's a cup of coffee. But for a single person who I have no idea about his life. I don't know if he could actually afford it. I have no idea. So that kind of sits in the back of your mind, you know what I mean? And then there's that pressure when you're filming the thing. You're like, hold on a minute. Some guys just put $3,500 in here. I could fucking better make this thing pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Be a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Sorry, what was that?
Be a lot of weight on your shoulders if someone.
Yeah. But I think it would be less if it was, it was a commercial agreement. Definitely, because one goes, well, I want this out of it, and one goes, oh, I want this out of it. And okay, well, we'll do that. But when it's personal,
if Bohemia Interactive give you the money, it's an incentive for you and them. But if a person gives you the money out of their own pocket, it's just an incentive for you, because the person giving you the money is nothing but generosity. That's all that's come from his side.
And that's as innocent and as humble and as human as you can possibly get.
Yeah, just generosity. Where Bohemia, it's an incentive for them to actually push the game more. People that come back, because so many people played DayZ years ago who won't play it now because they played it years ago, and they're just seeing like standalone now in better. I've seen videos, looks better. It does. It runs better. So people have played the game years ago and just like, no, it was just shit. It was horrible. I'm not playing that again. It's like the bad taste of DayZ in the mouth, but they don't understand it's not got better. It's got better, so they won't try it anymore. But more stuff that gets out that you're making puts a bigger light on DayZ, and in fact just makes Bohemia more money.
Yeah, like the amount of people that I get on videos saying, oh, I saw these videos and now I'm going to buy the game, or I'm going to reinstall it to come back and visit the game again, is insane. And it's the power of just making videos about a certain game is crazy.
I bet you the sales go crazy when like Shroud plays. Like if you had a graph of when the sales are, I bet you on Shroud live streams, I bet you the sales go up because Shroud's playing, and then as soon as you stop, boom, straight back down to its normal level.
Yeah.
How much would it hurt to give Shroud $20,000 to play the game?
I don't even think he'd get out of bed for $20,000.
$20,000 is nothing to him.
Yeah,
yes, that in this
ballpark figure, but like, how much would it hurt?
They can give me $20,000. I'll play the game.
I meant to ask you, how's who's that other English bloke who used to be on this show?
Brimstone.
How's he going, man?
He's doing all right. He's just busy with work. He's got a lot of hours now, so it's kind of sad. We wanted to get him back for the 50th episode, but he just couldn't make it, and had another episode I wanted to get him on for, but he just, life has gotten in the way, which is kind of sad, but we miss Brim. We miss him a lot.
Yeah, he was a cool dude. He was a good supporter of mine as well, and of everyone, man. He I remember when I first met you guys. I don't think Marks was there, but I think it was
No.
Boydie, Brimstone, and Lax. So Lax was in his kitchen having some beers. This was last year when
Yeah.
we first released the episode, and Lax first said, and this is where I've got a ton of respect for Lax, because he said, "Hit me up next year and we'll do a fundraiser." I hit him up next year and we did a fundraiser.
Yep.
And it was, on the internet, you can say whatever you want, and people are, people take your word as nothing really, because a lot of people would promise everything, but and not give it. And he 100% just went, "Yep." I said I'd do it, so I'll do it.
Yeah.
He's a stand-up dude, Lax is.
Oh
I've
yeah,
got a lot of time for him.
Absolute legend. Are you coming down to PAX, Boydie?
No.
Typical Queenslander.
Nah, man, no, controversial, but I'm one of these people who wants to wait and see if there's any more side effects of these vaccines before we get them, and I guarantee they're going to make you have a fucking
Do you reckon?
COVID bloody vaccination passport or something by then, and I'll just sit at home and watch.
Okay, fair enough.
Plus, there's the whole thing of if there's an outbreak as well, they'll probably, Victoria shut down yet again. And I don't know what the refund policy is going to be, so nah. I would love to. I would really love to, but no, I'll wait. I'll just wait.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Would have been good to meet up.
Yeah,
At least you can have events. We're still stuck over here inside. At least you have events over there.
Look, when we talk about an outbreak in Australia, we're getting like 4 or 5 community cases, and they go into full lockdown.
I don't know. It's unreal.
We have 400 cases over here, and we're coming out of lockdown. So, there you go.
So
That doesn't say.
I've got another question about the episode that I kind of said before, but I kind of need you guys to be honest about it. So I don't understand the YouTube algorithm and that kind of stuff, but is there something in the episode 3 that we kind of did wrong that wouldn't have kind of enticed the community? Did we kind of build them to?
Yeah. So this goes for gameplay videos, and I'm probably certain it can probably relate to movies as well, is that if you don't catch your audience attention in the first 30 seconds to about a minute of a video, they will just click off. So maybe it was the long scene and the intense scene at the start where it was kind of more slow paced.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what caught a lot of people off, and they just didn't have the attention span to maybe sit through it or whatever, and that might have had an effect on it.
Yeah.
Because usually straight away you just kind of want to get straight to action, which I know for those type of videos maybe isn't the best way to do it, but for the videos most YouTubers make, it's always high intense action constantly. That might have been something to do with it. That kind of slow pace, and then because it did then halfway in through the episode, then it just built up and that action started.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have had something to do with it.
Okay.
But otherwise than that, I don't think so.
Yeah, because we're trying to get critical, feedback from the community. It isn't just a dickhead on fucking YouTube saying this, that, and the other. I'm trying to get actual, quantitative feedback that I can put down and go, okay, maybe we made a mistake there, blah blah blah. Because as much as I'm a filmmaker and I can write the scripts and that kind of stuff, I can easily make mistakes. Easily.
Yeah, no, it's good you're coming out and asking what it is, because that is something you'll always say. You need to grab their attention as fast as you can, because once they grab their attention, then they're stuck for the entire video or most of the video.
Yeah.
So that probably has a big part to do with it. So yeah,
it's a little bit different with what you're doing though, because yours is more feature film stuff. You're not really going for that YouTube gameplay sort of aesthetic. It's a funny one for you. It's almost like your stuff belongs on Netflix rather than YouTube, so to speak. It's just such a higher quality production.
Yeah, and that's essentially what we're trying to do. We're trying to disrupt YouTube content by putting on that sort of stuff And you you get a lot of comments on there saying like, why the fuck is this even on YouTube? You know, why
Yeah.
is this not somewhere else? Excuse my French.
Yono Chinaros in chat just pointed out that the thumbnail for the video is dark as well, which could potentially.
Yeah.
Well, see,
I went
made
to-
that thumbnail because I was like, this guy's got a flare and there's a helicopter crashing. Like, how is that not enticing? I could be completely wrong. Maybe a can of peaches is better. These are the things that I don't. I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
that's,
like
yeah.
Usually dark thumbnails don't work very well for
See,
people wanting to click on a video. 'Cause
this shit, I don't know this shit, man.
you need like all your other thumbnails are very bright and they're kind of attention grab. So when you're scrolling
Like, the
through,
first one's
say you're
probably my
just scrolling
favourite
through
one.
YouTube, and it comes up and it's there, and people will kind of see it and they'll go back to it and they're like, oh, that looks kind of cool, and then they'll click into it,
Yeah.
Whereas with the dark one, if you were on dark mode on YouTube and you just scroll past it, you'd easily kind of scroll past that thumbnail. You probably wouldn't notice it because it blends in a bit more to a dark version.
Well, maybe I'll
YouTube
change it to the shovel. Give it a shot.
That would be a good. Try it. It's not going to go down in views. It can only go up. So
Yeah, no, it's great feedback actually. It's just a thumbnail. I can change that in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, on a mobile thumb, it's hard to make out, just for your information. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's good feedback. I completely thought the opposite and was like, hey, there's a flare in it. People are going to love it.
it is a really cool picture.
Yeah, it is a cool picture, but maybe not the best thumbnail.
Yeah.
For thumbnails, you always need something kind of bright and kind of attention grabbing.
Right.
Doesn't need to be crazy bright in these stupid colours, but just
actually,
kind of brightness.
One thing it's kind of a meta at the moment, but maybe go and check out some DayZ gameplay thumbnails. If you put a fucking arrow pointing at something in there, I'll slap you. A big one is this was the first episode where shots were fired. So even maybe the bandit aiming the rifle might have made a decent thumbnail, because pretty much all the thumbnails in DayZ at the moment seem to be have a gun in them somehow as a way of drawing people in.
Yeah.
Or even that sniper holding up the gun and there's like a muzzle flash coming at the end of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be something to do. Something like that.
Yeah, he says, the Chinaris says, slap the DayZ logo on there, maybe.
If they pay him.
There's exactly. It's different for someone who can sit in front of a computer, spend zero money apart from their internet, and make a thing and then put the logo in there. But when you're dropping $4,000 or $5,000 an episode and then you're putting a branding on there for someone else, that's not the way it works, man.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
and honestly, I do agree. I think maybe go with a bit less of the name being DayZ, because you're narrowing your audience down to DayZ fans primarily, and people who are willing to open their eyes, and go with a more zombie apocalypse style generic name. I don't think it's too late to rebrand them.
No, well, all I have to do is remove the DayZ from the episode.
Yeah.
From the thing,
Call it
just
the
call it
town and
Chinaris.
apocalypse.
Sorry?
Yeah, call it the town and then call it like say like I don't know, say like Kamishover or Apocalypse. So it's still DayZ, but it's not DayZ. People who don't know DayZ are, I don't know if people will still go for that.
Well, you
It's
could just call it Chinaris episode 1, Chinaris episode 2, Chinaris episode 3.
That'd work. It's clean, simple, short as well.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like, Chinaris. The people who play DayZ, they'll know. For others, they'll be thinking, what, this is some mythical land or something like that?
Yeah. And I'll give that a shot. It can't hurt. Not at all.
But keep it up, mate. We want to see more coming. And like I said, we'll have a chat with some people and see if there's not something we can come up with as a way of getting a few more dollars coming through to help fund the next episode. Because, like, how big is this series going to be if everything works out perfectly?
It would be probably pretty big. I think the aim for me would be to wrap up Chinaris, and then if there was serious money in it, if we were looking at, say, 25, maybe 50 grand an episode, I'd be thinking about doing a Namausk one and going out to the snow, shooting for 6 months, and then having all of the series done. Something like that. That's generally how it works. You know, if I wanted to do a 10 episode series in, say, Namausk or Essica or whatever, and there was a $500,000 budget, and that's very small. That's considering that's a really indie production. Say we did it out in Russia, or we went out to Czech Republic and actually did it there. Then we would probably shoot 5 to 10 episodes. All the scripts would be written, and then you would release them on time. It would be like a Netflix release for people, you know. So you'd
once
have
a week
that
or something
timeline.
like that.
And it would just build on itself. And obviously the production would be as high as it possibly can for that money. And I can only go so high in production value because of I have to wear so many hats, and I have to ask people to come help out. You know, I've got a lot of friends who come and help me for free and spend 3 to 4 days of their own time coming to help me instead of, you know, doing stuff for themselves. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Right, I'm afraid I'm going to have to fly because it's midnight and I have to be up early.
Yep.
But thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on, mate. Really
It's just
enjoyed
coming
having
on.
you on.
Thank you very much. And good night to you all. See you
Take
later
it
on.
easy, brother.
See you later.
Well, you get to hang around with us now for a little bit more longer if you want, Mr. Utah.
Yeah, look, again, I'm not going to take up all your time. You know, you guys you got your schedules and all that kind of stuff, and I really appreciate you taking the time and shedding light on the pros and cons of these series.
If you need any help with thumbnails or anything like that, you can either DM me on Twitter or stuff. If you just need anything, I'll try to help you as best as I can.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
If
Marx
you need
is the
it,
master of
you know,
clickbait.
hey, it's the way
Nice.
you make money on YouTube, so gotta do it.
Yeah, maybe we compare the two, quality and clickbait. So wait, this isn't clickbait. This is actually really good.
Yeah.
Don't speak to me. I'm the worst at clickbait. Marx is constantly getting up me for the names of my videos, and DayZ podcast episode 62 was such and such, whereas I could probably pick a much more engaging title, but I just like to keep it clean.
Well, there's a comment by Wolf says, my wife absolutely hates DayZ but really liked your videos because she's a horror and suspense fan. So that kind of goes back to what you guys were saying, is maybe take it away from the DayZ name completely, but still it's DayZ if you know what DayZ is.
Yeah.
And see how that goes, kind of thing.
The Shannara's episode 1, 2, 3, 4 would be probably the perfect way to do that.
Yeah, I think so. You know, the more I think about it, I think it makes sense because it's clean and people like simple shit, right?
Yep.
Now, did you ever play Taviana Origins back in the day?
Yes, I did. It was awesome.
Yeah. I did a spotlight interview, which is being released right after this. So we're going to go raid Dude Thor, but also make sure you check out my YouTube channel, the 87A Survivor FM one. It was a very, very interesting interview. He's actually making his own standalone game now.
Oh, Taviana. Yeah, see, that map in the Armor 2 and Armor 3. Armor 3 DayZ was awesome as well. That was so cool. Lingor was really cool as well. If they did Lingor, that would be awesome. But Taviana was one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
625 square kilometers. I almost, because I never played it. Like I said, I've only got a handful, literally a handful, probably one hand of hours in the mod. You know, all my mod experience came from watching Frankie on PC videos.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know very little about it. But when I was doing my research for the Spotlight interview with him, and he said 625 square kilometer map, I was like, are you kidding me? You know, that's 3 times the size of Chernerus.
Yeah,
but there's some really, really upset people about him making his own game. Like, I've got a comment here. It'll bomb and thank God. He doesn't deserve 1 penny from anyone. Made Taviana with Bohemia Interactive assets, yet then refuses to share the map. He can go fuck himself, basically.
That person's not very happy.
And I ended up getting into a bit of a tete-a-tete with some people
like you.
on it, and it was like, so what, you're going to begrudge the guy? Basically, that's like saying that Dean Hall should never have made a cent from DayZ. because
Yeah, he created the bloody thing.
yeah.
But
Marks.
the thing with this game is, though, hasn't this game been in development for years?
Yeah.
And it's still not out?
Yeah, but he's a small team, man. Like, he's not... He wouldn't have what Bohemia has.
I think
Yeah,
he said he's
true.
got 6 people.
And when has it been planned on releasing? Is there a
He
release
didn't
date?
give a date. Didn't give a date. It'll be released to early access, and he's got the same problem that MrUtah is facing. Funding and all the rest of it. He's made the studio himself, Mayak Studios, and he's trying to. It's a gamble. It's a gamble for him. But for someone to turn around and say he, should never make a cent from it, I'm the complete opposite. I say go for it, mate. If
Absolutely.
it fails. It's on him. He's got to wear that financial responsibility. But to say something like, I hope he never makes a cent, he can go fuck himself, that
Sounds like
is
a
just
communist
one
to
of
me.
the most vile comments I've ever read. That's basically saying to someone, don't ever take a chance on something. If he released this, look how much... The Molsk is probably a bit of a different one. Adam made some, pretty decent donations, but I honestly don't think that Adam Sumrak is buying a mansion now in Beverly Hills from the money he made from the Molsk.
He didn't make that much money from it.
Yeah, this guy's trying to make his own game from it, and for someone to turn around and say that, I'm sorry, but to that guy, you can go fuck yourself, mate. That is just such a bad attitude to have on anything. Yes, it sucks that it's not coming to standalone, but kudos to this guy to Martin, for trying his hardest to realise his vision the way he wants it.
Yeah, but at the same time, Boydie, like, that person is probably not a happy person in real life. They're probably not a very nice character, so I don't think they're probably just a piece of shit, man. There's plenty of them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it really upset me, and it was, he basically told me I was a fucking idiot, and I was like, whatever, mate.
Yeah, but what do you expect? Well, if he's going to say that about someone else, he's going to say that about you. So
yeah,
you're better off just letting it go.
But that's the website there, folks. They've got a Patreon as well. Look at supporting them. I'm going to be signing up to the Patreon probably next Thursday once I get paid. But yeah, we'll be supporting them from the podcast as well, from 87.8 Survivor FM, because I think it's great. It may bomb, who knows? And we talked about that during the interview, and he's well aware of that. But I salute the guy for taking a chance to realise his vision the way he wants it. Yeah. Speaking of taking a chance, this one was quite sad to see. Uncooper's OSD server closing. So he tried for that more old school DayZ feel, and it only lasted about, from what I could see, about 3 months, Marks.
Yeah, it did. There just isn't an audience there for it, or like a big enough. There is an audience there, obviously, but there isn't a big enough audience to be able to run a server off, and I think that's what the problem was. The player count wasn't there, and
I blame you, Mark. You didn't do a video on your server.
I actually joined it. I streamed it once,
But
and
you didn't do a video on it. We all know that if you want to have a successful server, you need a Mark's video.
There was nothing to make a video on. That's the thing about it.
It comes down to the fact that there's thousands of servers out there, and there's only a player base of 30,000 concurrent players on average. So sadly, some servers will last, and like I said there, unless you can convince a big name to play and advertise your server, or have very deep pockets, it's very hard to keep a server going. I tried, and I ended up closing my server as well. There just wasn't an audience for it.
You could get some of the biggest names to play on a server, but if people will join that server, but if they don't find it fun, they'll be gone within, the server will be empty within a week again. I've made videos on servers that have 40,000-50,000 views on them, and the servers never got anywhere because people just didn't like them. That way it's all just, I don't know a word for it. People are just, they want something new, they want something different,
Mm-hmm.
And it's very difficult to make something like that.
It is. But it was sad to see. It was a great idea. And I know Uncooper will be floating around in some way, shape, or form. Him and Daone are going to release the custom mods they made public to be used from other communities, and that's a good thing of them to do. So, all the best, Uncooper. He's a very solid member of the Australian DayZ community, and I'm sorry your server didn't work out for you, mate, but I know exactly how that feels. You have a dream, you're convinced it's going to be fucking amazing, and then it just doesn't pan out in the end.
Yeah, it is a shame. I guess on the other side of it is that Lax started a server and he's Australian and that's popping off.
But yeah, but Lax is a different beast. Lax is massive.
Yeah, no, I know he's got the following and everything, but what I mean is the silver lining is he's Australian and that still at least, brings some Australian, although I think it's an American server, so maybe that doesn't actually matter.
Now, we had an interesting idea put into the podcast Discord. And again, folks, if you haven't, please join our podcast Discord. Links are in the description of the video and the podcast if you're listening to it that way. Oh, geez, I need to update that command. But this was, I thought, just a brilliant idea. Now, the comment is by Dazzy Boy. A fully fledged database where when items are stored where they are no longer part of the server until they are removed from storage, helping with server performance. I'm not a base builder. I prefer to roam the map and only use what I can carry. And it's really annoying when you pass a base for a larger group that has thousands of items and FPS drops like Thelma and Louise off the bloody cliff. That was okay. But it was this second part. A base rating system where players can attach themselves to a base flag, let's say, and add their friends to the flag, which in turn relates to those player GUIDs. If none of those GUIDs are on the server, base rating for that base becomes disabled. Now, I'm torn on this one because I'm a firm believer in that one person's offline is another person's online time. Particularly if you're playing on a global server or a server with a global player base. What time that you're able to get on might not be where players who are on the other side of the world are on. So, yeah. But it is one of the biggest issues that people get butthurt about on base servers. Their base being rated when they're not online. Now, I asked in chat whether this is actually feasible. And Jacob Mango said yes. So, watch this space. Maybe someone will pick up on it. But I think that would be a great idea. I know there could be issues with, I can see your mind thinking, Mark's analysing it. There may be issues with, oh shit, they're going to raid our base, we log off. Maybe you could attach a cooldown, so that from 1 hour of that person logging off, the base is raidable. I don't know, but at the moment, it does cause a lot of drama on some community servers. I think that was a fantastic idea and possibly one that some servers that do have a lot of base rating on them could look at. What do you think, Marks?
People who get butthurt over base rating need to grow up.
But that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, you're meant to base raid and...
It's an apocalypse. Yeah. I need food.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, exactly. People if your base gets raided, oh well, new adventure, let's go.
But part of the issue is that DayZ has no base defense system other than build walls. Build walls, build more walls, build more walls, build more walls. And there's also the argument that, in reality, you would be asleep in the base. So if someone was raiding it, you'd wake up. I think this could just be a way of introducing a mechanism until they add some, whether it be AI that you can put in your base to defend it or some other system. I know you guys are probably sick of me talking about Scum, but Scum has some amazing base defenses, from claymores that you can attach motion detectors or laser tripwires to mines you can plant in the ground, spike traps, nail traps, all sorts of things. DayZ has none of that. That I'm aware of.
It's only a matter of time for Scum. I think it's only a matter of time for that game that it will just explode. It'll just take a few big streamers to play it and their patches to come out, and for it to be a little bit cleaner, and it'll just dominate because it's a fun game, man.
It's different. It's very different to DayZ. So I don't think it'll ever I know we're going a bit off topic here, but I don't think it'll ever kill DayZ, but it will create its own audience because it's
No,
got,
it's not
got some
supposed to
different.
kill, but it
Yeah.
can definitely get big. Like Rust
yeah.
got big. There's no reason Scum can't get big.
Yeah.
But as Wolf by Night is saying there, in my base building experience, people mostly offline raid. It's kind of the meta. Very few raiders have the balls to raid when another faction is online and turn it into a big epic battle. Most of it's done at 2 a.m. in the morning when they know 95% of the player base is offline. Zyson's got it right. This combat raids are much more interesting.
Yeah, well, why don't you just make it you're only able to raid, everything becomes invincible in low peak hours. It has to be done in high peak hours. How
I
hard
think
is that?
that can be done already. Setting base raid times, or I'm not sure, but yeah, I just like that idea. I thought it was a novel idea and one that could work well and make it a bit easier for server owners to manage the raid system.
It's a cool idea, but I think it's just overcomplicating it. I think one of the things with DayZ is when you build a base, you have to know and accept going into building your base that at some stage, no matter what, your base is going to get raided. It's just going to happen. It's
but
DayZ.
You like doing offline raids, don't you?
I've done it once. I've done one offline raid.
Yep.
But I've been offline raided. I can't even count it how many times. But it's just like you get offline raided. It's a punch in the gut, but you get back up and you go again. You just rebuild. It's just. I think it overcomplicates it.
I in my opinion, who's someone who doesn't really play the game that much, I kind of see it. I'm not emotionally invested in it. I think if you're going to play a survival game where you can build a base and you're worried about people raiding your bases, firstly, you're either too emotionally invested or you're playing the wrong fucking game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my opinion on it.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're going to get raided.
It's part of the game.
Yeah. But if you make it too realistic where your character is quote unquote asleep in your base, that gets too it just gets boring and complicated after a while. It's just you're going to get raided, leave it happen. It kind of also has a bit of suspension, like, okay, when you're logging on, it's like, am I going to log into a base that's completely empty and there's nothing there anymore, or is all my gear going to be still there? It's a gamble as well. Yeah, people just overreact and overcomplicate stuff way too much.
I think there's bigger problems with the game than modding base raiding.
Yes, I agree.
But it seems Essica's taken off, which is pretty cool. I haven't played it yet.
It's great. It's really, once that map will be done, it'll be the best.
Have you played it, Boydie?
In DayZ.
Yeah, I've been loving Essica. It's kind of what led me to talk earlier about the meta being small maps at the moment. Essica is such a beautiful map. They've reinvigorated DayZ. They've shown just what you can do with the same tired old assets and a bit of creativity when it comes to map making. They've really, it's awesome. Now, there's going to be another DayZ podcast focusing more on map making and stuff, but our guest, Big Grandpa, is doing a podcast which starts at Monday 6 a.m. So the same time as the DayZ podcast starts, but tomorrow morning, Big Grandpa will be doing a Twitch stream podcast. So that's his Twitch channel there. Go give him a follow. You won't regret it, folks. The guy, I've been following his Discord. He is amazing. He's so supportive of everyone in there. And the stuff he spoke about how to make your own maps easily is some next level stuff.
I saw that actually. I was there for that one.
Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal stuff.
Was that the one that you were saying this is a big deal, everyone needs to be a part of this stream, and then that OG guy was being a dick? Or someone was being a dick?
Week.
No.
I think.
Shh. We're not allowed to badmouth other streamers.
Sorry. I'm not a part of that world. I'm not allowed to. Yep, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone was being
no,
dick.
this was that was a different stream. This was another one which kind of took us by surprise. I had him on to talk about an Australian map he's designing, and then he drops this tool that you can basically create your own map in a few minutes. Obviously, just the bare bones of it, and you need to expanding it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Mario, just so everyone knows, has been tied up with work, but I've been in contact with him, and he is still working on the animation and AI stuff, but he's just had a lot of stuff going on IRL with work, so all good there. Folks, we are pretty much near the end of it. We've got the Steam Open World sale at the moment, so don't forget that. DayZ is on sale. Let me see if I can find their tweet. 40% off until tomorrow, or probably 2 days' time for you people in the past, as part of the Open World game sale. Get 40% off DayZ and 20% off Livonia. And also, they have released their wallpaper for June, which you can download and put onto your PC. I do like these, Mark. What do you think of them? I don't know about the image so much. I just like the wallpapers.
Yeah, they're nice to give them their free wallpapers every month and stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Maybe they'll do a MrUtah live action wallpaper.
Now they gave me a nice spotlight, the spotlight shout out in their monthly spotlight or whatever.
Yep.
And apparently the patch release, the zombies got harder, and it kind of worked well with the episode because the survivor didn't fight the zombie, and that kind of worked in the way that maybe they're a little bit harder kind of thing. Obviously, that was not the intention. However, they seem to use that to their benefit. But anyway.
Spotlights. Marks, what was your spotlight for the week?
I'd have to give it to Kafina's what was the thing? Exit Decay. Servers that he's working on, stuff they're cool. I haven't played them yet, but from what I've heard from people and himself, it just seems like it will be a really cool concept when it's all up and running. So I'll have to give it to that.
What about you, MrUtah? You got anything that you would like?
Spotlight on DayZ?
Anything?
Honestly, you know what I've been really watching a lot of? The Burger Show.
If you said Amaranth, I was going to slap you.
I know. Yeah, don't get me started on that. The Burger Show on First We Feast is fucking awesome, man.
Yep.
You guys have got to get on that.
I do watch it. I do. I am sucked for First We Feast, the Hot Ones interviews and stuff like that.
Man, that is such a cool. And there's an Australian one called Cold Ones. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. I'm not such a huge fan of it.
No, they're a bit cringe for my liking. I think the Hot One's definitely better.
Yeah.
But good on them for the Aussies getting out. They're getting millions of subscribers, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in terms of DayZ shout out, not really. I mean, I tend to just watch, you guys and Lax and Dude and Foxy and just the kind of smaller. Well, I guess not. Lax is not small, but the smaller people.
Yep.
I think Kaiser's a really cool dude. He's been really supportive.
Yeah. Other than those horrible bloody face swap videos he uploads, I've done them myself as well.
They're actually pretty funny, man. They are pretty funny.
Oh, so the ones where he puts himself onto women.
Yeah, I think it's gold. Now he's been very supportive, and he always shares his stuff. So I jump in his stream every now and then and say hi, and he's really cool. There seems to be a lot of quite cool people, but I have seen a dip in DayZ. I mean, when I first started making these things, DayZ was popping off pretty hard, but like some of the streamers who were getting 200-300 in a stream, they're kind of gone down to the 50s. I'm not sure if people have just given up on the game or they're watching something else, or hot tubs have become more popular. I have no idea.
That's what I was saying. I think it's to do with, remember I was saying with YouTube views being down for DayZ as well. I think it's just across the board. Everything's kind of down a bit at the moment.
Oh, here we go. You got the stream charts. Yeah, that's cool.
Kind of in a plateau at the moment. So hopefully it'll pick up whenever the next update comes out. But
I've actually noticed a bit of an increase in the amount of people. I think there's a bit more of a diversification of the viewer base. there's a lot more people streaming DayZ now. I'm seeing names I've never seen before.
Way more. That's what I was like kind of alluding to, is there's so many people to click through, and it's like I only follow like maybe 8 or 10 people because they were like the OG ones that I started following, you know, when I started making these videos, and I haven't really explored that much, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, I've seen a lot of like my Twitter is basically just DayZ, because I started my Twitter when I started these episodes. So I see a lot of people sharing new people and this, that, and the other, which is pretty cool.
A lot of females as well of late.
Heaps
a lot
of
more females.
Yeah, definitely.
No, it's good to see. It's great to see.
No, it is good to see. I do wonder though why. I mean, do people? I have a feeling that people see DayZ as a entrance to being successful in the streaming, where they can then move on. That's my
I don't think so.
Suspect.
I think a lot of those people who are looking for a game to get in, they make the mistake of going to the games that the big names are playing, you know, Fortnite and stuff like that. But they're overly saturated. DayZ, well, actually, you could be right. DayZ's a bit of a smart person's choice. It's a bit saturated at the moment, but it's still not a massive player base. So if you set yourself up well, and have your little shtick that can catch people viewing, it's easy to build, or it's easier to build a reasonable audience.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, for sure. I mean, I watched a video, I think you linked it, this whole hot tub thing, and it's like, dude, I remember when Twitch first came out back in the day, and it was
that was by your favourite YouTuber, Marks, Devin Nash.
Oh, Chris.
And it was just, well, Asmongold did one as well. He did a breakdown of the whole, like, the whole hot tub thing, and it's, I saw an interesting post from Sada this morning. He was like, electricity and hot tubs, it's only a matter of time. I thought that was quite funny.
Saw that tweet.
And he's right. Someone's probably going to die, or someone's going to get really hurt with that shit.
Twitch fails uploads. Yeah.
But I think something needs to be done about that, because it's kind of ridiculous, man. It's like, man, if I'm going to watch porn, I'll just go to Pornhub. Like, come on. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Twitch is in, I don't stream on Twitch, so I don't want to be calling anybody, you know, Twitch out and getting Boydie in trouble or whatever. But Twitch itself, as of right now, is in a bit of a rough state. I think we can all say it's in just a bad. If it's not with the hot tub streams, it's with their DCMA stuff, and they're just getting claimed left, right, and center, and it's just a mess. Just come over to YouTube; it's far better.
It's also just a little bit sad. I think sad is the word that comes to my mind. It's like, man, you can't, you know, don't you want to learn a skill or something?
Like it's pure, it's talentless. You just sit there in water, and if you're pretty, you'll gain views. It's simple.
Well,
as that.
unfortunately, it's really not good for young up and coming women streamers, because I mean, how does it make them feel or look like?
Especially the ones that are doing it legit.
Yeah, like all the female DayZ streamers who are unreal to watch. Like, they must look at those streams and go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
I'm not sure how it's even allowed, like, because underage kids can get on this, you know. Underage kids can get on Twitch and watch these people who are half naked. Like, I'm not sure how legal that really is.
There was some chick, I'm pretty sure she had the name Cinderella something or other. I can't find her. But she had a clip where it was basically her saying, look, I've got nothing against girls making money by showing their body if they want to. You go, girl, you get that bag, but please don't do it on Twitch. Please don't do it here. You're making it hard for the rest of us who don't want to do that sort of stuff, and you're bringing us down. You know, I get people coming into my stream, and she was a moderately attractive young lady, and she was saying, and they're saying to me, why aren't I showing my body in a bikini and things like that? And I actually did check her channel out. That's why I'm surprised it's not popping up in my feed. And she went to the dark side and she did a hot tub stream, but she wore a wetsuit. And I laughed my fucking ass off. It was like, you go, girl. She had a wetsuit with a mask on and a snorkel and all the rest of it, and she just decided she would just make a joke out of it. It was quite funny to see.
And that comment, Just Spud says, look how much they're making. Stripping has always been a thing. It's more of a modern version, except that when you go to a strip club, you got to show your ID. That's the only difference.
Plus, I read an article of a girl based here in Brisbane, in the Fortitude Valley, or she was a stripper in the Fortitude Valley, and she now does these hot tub streams. And she said she makes in a night more than what she would make in a week of actually stripping in a nightclub and having to deal with seedy guys and all the rest of it. So
yeah, I guess that's a positive thing. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's on Twitch, which was at one stage a gaming streaming live platform, and now it's embarrassing. I don't even be on Twitch that much anymore. It's just
look, YouTube's got its own problems as well. YouTube's got the naked yoga loophole that a lot of people get around.
That's educational, though. That's educational. Don't be dissing it. It's for educational purposes only.
Is that your favourite channel? Is it?
Subscribe to all of them.
But, no, it's all a bit crazy. Anyway, let's bring it back to what we really all
we were doing highlights. My highlight is Lax Hawthorne and his server. It's fucking killing it.
That's cool, man. It's really cool to see.
It is. Like I've tried to get on a few times. I'm one of those. I refuse to sit in a queue. If I can't just get in and have one or two people, I've tried to join it. 18, 25, all the rest of it. So I just say, fuck it, I'll go play something else then. I have been on it a few times and I've had a ball on it. But if Lax is streaming on it, give up unless you are desperate. If you're that desperate to be a thirsty boy to run into Lax, then sit in the queue for an hour while it goes down from 18 slots to 1. But I couldn't wish him more luck. The guy is someone I would like to call a personal friend. And I've got so much respect for this Aussie guy who's got a head like a bucket of smashed crabs that's managed to become one of the biggest names in DayZ. I've heard he smells like a bucket of smashed crabs that's been left in the sun too long as well. But you didn't hear that from me.
I'll tell you when I see him in Melbourne. I'd like to meet up, have a beer with him, go down and see him at his little hometown. Take few, because I got a couple of MrUtah boys coming down. So, be nice to go see him, hang out, say thanks, and have a beer.
Yeah.
Be unreal.
Okay, folks. MrUtah, thank you so much for coming on the show this week, mate. We even let him arrive late because he's a guy who's up all night partying and doing drugs with all the YouTube monies he makes and has to sleep in.
Yeah, red carpet, just releases left, right, and centre,
It was great to finally talk to you, by the way, MrUtah, for the first time.
Yeah, thank you, brother. No, it's you've been supportive of my stuff. I see all your comments on my videos. It's really nice. Thank you.
Next week we don't have a guest scheduled. I have reached out to the dev team to see if they're interested in coming on. So watch this space to see if anyone announces it. Otherwise, you may just end up with the two sexiest men in DayZ after you, of course, MrUtah, Marks and I, for a special episode. We'll have to try and think of something novel to do. I have just hit the go live button on the spotlight on Taviana the Origins. It goes for about an hour and 15 minutes, so it's not the longest video. So please head on over and check that out. Sorry, it goes for 1 hour and 10 minutes and 36 seconds. So yeah, it was a good interview. We got a lot covered, talking about the future of Taviana and the challenges he's faced with going it alone with his own game. I wish him the best of luck. Screw the haters. People get butthurt over everything these days. So good luck to him and the rest of the team.
Agreed.
Folks, thank you so much, Marks. A pleasure as always to have you on the show with me, mate.
Pleasure as always. Yeah.
I love the fact that you've got such a different view of DayZ to me, because that, I feel now that we're providing a more dispersed range of opinions on things, because quite often you or I are polar opposites on where we stand on something. But I like that because it caters to a bigger, it's not just a more hardcore style sort of thing. It's about more diversity in the way you can play DayZ.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. It's good to have.
And don't forget, folks, head on over. Mr. Utah, there's his Patreon. Sign up to it. Guy needs our support, and we'll see what we can do to do something to help get an episode 4 happening, Mr. Utah.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'll update you on how I go with contacting. Well, I'm already in contact, but how I go,
Yeah.
Getting something together.
BI, if you're listening, please
Sounds good.
fucking fund this guy.
Yeah, we'll see how we go, guys.
Yeah.
All the best, everyone, and we will see you next week, same time. Ciao for now.
Take it
Later.
easy, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye bye.